Hello! Welcome everybody to another... well done, Madness. You just yawn away. It's fine. Welcome to another Asylum Podcast.
Totally on purpose to highlight my lack of...
Episode 53. 50. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, everybody, do you want to just get yawns out the way?
You need to get that out of the way.
Let's just get them out of the way.
Chat, if you all want to yawn as well, feel free.
I always say
to do so.
It's always complain about it, saying it's one of the things I hate doing, but I did it myself. Bad madness. Bad.
So we are back once again. It must mean it's Monday. It must mean we've got lots of stuff to talk about for StarCitizen. This is what we're here for. So, welcome everybody.
At your service.
Glad to have you with us. This is going to be a really long podcast to make sure that we cover everything that we've been shown. Wow, Brimstone, 21 months in a row. Thank you for that sub, and thank you as well, Toby. Very much appreciated from you both.
I have
Must be crazy.
never ever seen a guy that quick to get a beer.
Yeah, he is fast.
Oh, Brim.
Brim is lightning fast when it comes to beer.
Where's he gone? And then he comes back with a beer. Like, what?
We don't want to get in.
One in each hand.
I
Like
just
those
ordered
ones.
beer.
Is he a slim chap? Is he a slim chap?
Yeah, reasonably
Very
slim.
The advantages of being slim in a pub is unquestionably
Excuse me.
big deal. When you're a larger chap, you can hold the bar beautifully. You can kind of block that sucker off from people generally.
Safe spaces for people.
But getting through is a skinny man's job, that's for sure. There's no
Just
question.
put some weight in.
Tactical bar work, bar approaching. You can have the skinny guy getting in there and the fat guy holding up the area for the rest of your friends.
And if they...
But whenever I go anywhere with Joe, like when we was in holiday in Switzerland, like there's loads of people waiting to be served, and she'll find a section of the bar that's not really got anyone leaning on it, nor anybody serving, and she kind of makes eye contact with them, and then just walks straight to the empty part and goes, and there's no shame. It's not like, oh no, he was here first. It's just literally straight in there and goes, yeah, I'll have a glass of wine, please. And what are you having? It's fine. No, back it. Don't worry about what he's having. Just pour my wine. It's like. Seriously, you literally just walked in the door. There's people that have been here for probably half an hour trying to get a drink.
But that's because they queue. People
when that
queue.
happens, I always wish that I had like Snake Eater's training, because I would grab his hand, twist his arm around, and smash his head on the table, and then just let everyone be like, in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Everyone would be like, yeah.
And instead you just get kicked out.
That's not what would happen.
Just stick your thumb up his ass. He will move. If that doesn't work, send Toby Tejan. He's large enough. Oh, get out of the way.
do a little fondage.
A little goose work.
Give a beer to my little friend.
Welcome anyway. Yeah, that's right. This is the lack of content that we have to talk about.
Yeah.
We're milking it while we can.
It's very important to talk about how to get your beer. It's one of those things that, you know.
It's a life lesson in actual fact.
It's what makes us a British podcast.
That's the best way to get your beer quickly. Get a pretty girl, and just be like, hey, Dub, I'll give you 20% of whatever. I'll buy you a drink if you just get my beer for me.
You just order them.
For the rest of the night.
And then she's back again in like a flash, and you're like, beautiful.
Just whistle.
I am role playing the scenario. I'm actually there.
He's there. At this moment in time, he's in the pub.
How you doing?
He's one of those, isn't he? I bet he's one of those to the waiter.
Yeah. Holds his money and waves it around, trying to flag down the bar staff with the £10 note. Because no one else is there who's going to pay.
And this is for you, my friend, a crisp $2 bill.
As much as that, I'm the one that it's better off like pretending you're going to give them a tip and say, "Look, come on, go and get me a drink," and everyone they come and go change, and then just put the change in your pocket and walk off. It's fine.
But I'm that guy, like, you know, when you go, like, you got Uber where you are, like when you order food or a delivery room when you order food where you guys are. Do you have that where you are? Okay, whoever, basically a takeaway. Whenever someone's coming to the door, and you see that, and you can tell the ones that are kind of like thinking they're going to get the tip, and then you got the ones who obviously they're doing their job. They go, they deliver, and they're already turning and going away. But there's the other ones, the lingerer. You know, the momentary kind of like, he's kind of like linger, and I'm like, dude, you just delivered me a fucking pizza. What do you expect? That's your job. Be proud of your job. That's what you get paid for. Now fuck off.
Own it. Own that job.
I'm like,
be proud.
Be proud of it. Deal with like Japan. Yeah, look, they would be offended if I gave them a tip. So jog on, pal. Let's move this. They would be offended.
You've got the Americans to blame for that though. They tip for absolutely everything. So and it's like slowly drip feeds to our side.
That is his job. He gets paid to do that. And people say to me, "Oh yeah, but he's getting paid minimum wage." And I'm like, "Well, form a union and deal with that issue." That's what I'm saying.
Form a union of the Pizza Hut union. Let's do it. Phone a friend.
Exactly. Phone a friend.
And at least they've got pre-made billboards to just hold up pizza boxes and they're fine.
It's like, what are you? Like, I hate it though. Like literally, like someone who passed me the salt. Yeah, and why are you still standing next to me? You just brought me salt. I mean, I could have got up and got it, but you're here. Like that whole culture for me, like I never ever got it. Like I mean, I did it because I was told, and I was like, okay, 20% tip.
Why did you need salt? Your whole body is made out of salt.
Yeah, it was nice.
I don't get it.
And I was like, pass me that, like you just go, why do you want, you just got me a coffee, you brought me a coffee, I pay for the coffee. Why? Next time, Colin, sit down, love, I'll get and get it myself. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I don't even want to pay you the 20% or whatever it is that you feel you deserve for going that distance. I will walk the 2 feet and get it myself. Seriously. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry.
I think we found another trigger point.
I forgot about the whole tipping stuff. So we got some weird angry faces of the cab driver, the Uber, the waiter, you name it. And yeah, after day 3, I think it was that. We realized we have to tip those guys.
Just don't be the last one out of the taxi. Be the first one out. Go.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is the best trick. It's like, well, I've given you my money. I'm not the one dealing with the tip. It's fine.
Best way to deal with that is be the person that's pretending to need a pee. If you can kind of pretend that you need to pee, then everyone will be like, yeah, go, yeah, go, and you'll be like, yeah, cool.
Sit on the toilet for 5 minutes.
Escape.
Busted.
Oh, that's the way to do it.
Love it.
But no, like before I get like millions of people on YouTube from America saying, yeah, but they get minimum wage, and I understand they're working 3 jobs. I get it. I do my
different culture.
in America. I give them.
You've seen Reservoir Dogs before, haven't you?
Just for the waitresses.
Yeah, but it's a different culture over there, and also they get less. They actually get less money because it's expected to tip them. Whereas here, they don't earn less. They just expect the tip. It's like huge.
You see that piece of paper? It says service included. Jog on. In fact, I'm like my dad is the best because he's Scottish, and he's like, see the bit that says service included? He's like, I scrub that off, please, love.
No, that's too much. But it's always good when it says service included because at least it means you go, well, I don't have to leave a tip now because it's
you don't feel bad.
There. So you feel better. But yeah, I don't go as far as scrubbing it off. But
trying is hard. Like if you scrub it off, you say, look, before you even put the service included, it's going to be scrubbed off. So you work harder if you want that 12.5%.
You got to work for this.
You got to work for it.
We have a checklist. If you don't tick them all, if you don't meet all the requirements, you ain't getting no tip.
Does he go into the restaurant with a list of demands and say if you hit them, you may get a tip?
It's war. Like literally,
might make it 18%.
He's Scottish. So for him, like going into a restaurant, he considers that it's like, and especially an English restaurant, he's pretty much in Braveheart before he walks through the door. He's like all dressed up, painted, goes in, and he's like,
is that when he shouts as he leaves?
Like, freedom. He's like full on like attack. I'm getting this for free, you know.
Give me my steak.
That's his way of looking at it. It's like I want this for free.
So I imagine this in my head. Awesome.
Number of times, little Scotsman, little scary as hell though. That's the thing is they scare. Scots people are the worst. They are scary, you know.
The savage, aren't they?
Yeah,
big red beards.
Yeah, I'll always remember. Yeah. Anyway,
with a little hat on with a pumpkin on top. And a bagpipe.
Huge. Double-sided sword. Just lays it on the table.
Service
is going to be good.
To cut my meat.
Is going to be good today, love.
Brim, they are the worst tips. The ones that says, when you expect a tip and then someone just turns around and says things like that. Oh, I've got a tip for you, love. Don't eat yellow snow or something like that. That's just worse. That's like adding salt into the injury if I'm not giving you a tip.
They're going to be like this, like, that's the first time I've heard that one.
It's going to be like, I'm spitting in your dinner. Every course.
Don't piss off those who bring you your food. It's all been waiting.
Yep. I'm like, there is a time and a place. You always make sure you're very civil all the way through until the very end.
But that's what problem with Joe is. She complains at the start, and I'm like, don't do that. Don't complain at the start.
Or go on TripAdvisor and be that guy that leaves a really shitty review afterwards. After you've been and said, thank you so much, everything was great, thank you. That was a load of shit, wasn't it?
While you're sitting at the seat.
We're going on TripAdvisor.
Bad review selfie.
With your address and your name and where you're going. Kind of They're like, oh, that was a prick. Oh, that one. Yeah, I got him. I remember. He banned on the list. He's getting the come of some young guy, that's for sure.
Man, what a start.
He's moving the conversation on, I think.
This is normally our pre-show. It's fine, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like
welcome.
We do promise you 10% StarCitizen when we do this podcast. In fact, actually, we have been considering doing a discussion podcast on stuff that's not StarCitizen. So if you guys in chat are interested in that or on YouTube, leave some comments below and let us know, because we will talk for days about stuff that's not StarCitizen.
Think of this section. This whole section we do now is like foreplay. It kind of it doesn't work, but it warms you up.
Yeah.
And then you're ready.
We can talk about it wrong. We can bring some topics to the table and just go full on non-PC on that. Well, I will anyway. I don't know about the other guys. They'll be good.
Well, let's maybe not get our channel banned, but
okay, we'll go on a separate channel.
We'll bring back the non-PC
pixelate the screen and dodge the dodgy voices.
Yeah, we'll just be in shadow. And we'll do modulated voices so you can't see it's us, but we'll keep the name tags underneath us so it doesn't know. It's just...
Hey, we might as well swap them around. People won't know. Oh, God. Right, so yes, StarCitizen is... I don't know about you guys, but it is really, really thin. And I'm really just getting very disappointed. We're now... 3 months in, they had their January kind of like cooldown period, and they are slow out the blocks at the moment in terms of just getting us just anything really. I mean, I know people, if anyone says to me, well, they're focused on the flight model, I'll be like, get fucked, that's one person. If anyone says to me they're focused on Squadron 2, I'll say they've got 600 members of staff. What the hell is the other? That's a certain chunk of obviously the staff, but there's still a whole lot of other people. It's like, what's going on? Like, I thought they were going to give us an idea what the plan was. They said they had a plan for the content, the subscription model, the subscription money is like, I think the reviews from most people would be the sub money is as far as I'm concerned, it's like, we ain't getting content, we ain't getting value for our money. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think that if they're going to do it, give us if they don't want to do any more videos, then give us an open PTU. We'll pay for that with our subscription money, and we'll have constant things to play with. So for me, it's like,
no, it was the 4th of January when they asked us what we want as a subscriber, and so far we haven't seen any updates. They've just
what do you want? Because we're not going to deliver it.
ATV.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's like, how much more do you want?
Maybe that won the poll. What do you want for your sub money? And everyone ticked nothing. We're happy as we are.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
And they went, fine.
I mean, I know we're like potentially a vocal minority. Maybe there's a huge group of people like in YouTube. If you're that group that's very happy with, and Twitch as well. If you guys are just that happy group that are just happy with the way it is, you paying your money, you don't care. That's cool. Like, that's totally cool. I'm certainly not you. I know there's a lot of other people who aren't you, and I know that most of the people that I know are definitely either done it or considering it. So for me, it's like, it's just so disappointing at the moment. I'm like, what's going on? It's so quiet.
They're not creating any hype, and there's so much they could have done right. I can't believe, why has it taken since January to get to this point and still not have anything new? I want something new. The ATV, don't get me wrong, is okay sometimes. RTV is a decent show, but in between times, we're lacking anything.
We lost Call the Devs and things like that. So the last RTV that we just got, which we will go over, like that could have easily been a one-off. We'll replace Call the Dev, just not every week, but like that didn't have to be RTV. Perfect. That could have just been a creative corner, and then they could have just done an hour for us and given us something extra on top of RTV. Why did that have to be the RTV slot? They don't replace shit when you've got nothing else anyway in the first place. It would have been nice to have been an extra.
Yeah, it's definitely about time they sort of told us what the current status is of subscriber content. because
what's coming?
It's been nearly 3 months. We need information. It's been over 3 months. I think we need information.
So I can imagine that they will was any more content for the 3.5 part, because they obviously don't want to show us everything. Not there is anything more to show, I think.
Got nothing left. Got nothing left to hide. It's like,
They could show us a bit more what's in the works for the future patches, because Caves, it's nowhere near that it will be included into a patch, right? But other things like I don't know, show us more of the new moons they've shown for 2-3 seconds, other cities that are in the making, or whatever is out there.
Yeah, it's like whatever you're working on.
But they are fixed to 3.5, and that's a content rot. And
but there's not much in 3.5. I mean,
I know.
There. It's not like there's a huge amount of stuff in there. So either you're in
there.
So I'm looking at like what's the if you break up the teams, like Bok, they've got a huge group of people. Now maybe those people are busy on Squadron 42, and that's like we do recognize that obviously Squadron 42 is going to be taking a chunk of resources, but we also know from the roadmap that Squadron 42 is potentially running very similar to the Persistent Universe in terms of, you know, maybe a month or two earlier in terms of certain content. So
correct.
It's not like that's invisible to us. Now, if it's obviously affects potentially surprises and Squadron 42 stuff, then yeah, okay, sure. I can understand maybe not showing certain things, but we've seen a lot of it already. There's a whole. Let's be honest. Like if you think about Vandal stuff, they can just throw us a shit ton of Vandal stuff. We've seen the Driller. We've seen the Hunters. We've seen pictures of the new whatever heavy Vandal. Just they could easily throw a load of that stuff at us to kind of get
put
us
some microtech in.
Excited. The Kingship, kind of like, of course, the inside of the Kingship, a bit more interesting. Like maybe what they're doing on there. I mean, I know it could ruin Squadron 42 a little bit, maybe. I don't know, but there's so much more things.
But
that's just my likes.
I think ATV covers the 3.5 or the next patch well. It kind of takes things from what's coming up next and gives us a little insight each week on different things. And I think that works fine. I like that. RTV is great when we have people like Todd Pappy or someone of stature answering important questions.
Really
I think we need something.
Yeah.
I think we need something for... I would say more the veterans. We've got the stuff for the new people. Like they ask all the same questions on RTV to the same people. We all know the answers, so it's not really benefiting us. I think if we can get something like a deep dive into a system they're working on, a mechanic they're working on, whether it's going to be seen in Squadron or not, surely they're working on stuff in other areas, just like prototyping, like the caves, like gameplay mechanics, like salvaging, or even if they have just anything, just something that if they did a deep dive on a Monday, I think, because Monday did work. You got Monday, you waited till Thursday, Friday, weekend, back to Monday again, gave us something exciting to go with. Just something on a Monday would be perfect that we can all get our teeth into.
Yeah.
I mean,
do you think it's...
Sorry.
Do you think it's just like the time, like, is there argument that they just haven't got time to put that stuff together? Like,
I wouldn't think so, because the team is specifically like Jared and the team that do the content for us is a specific team for that, and that's specifically what the subscriber money goes on. Subscriber money doesn't go into development; it goes on content for subscribers to bring more information to us. And I think if Jared I think it's Jared. It could be not just Jared. I'm not just saying he's the only one. I mean, like there's Jared, there's Ulf, there's Tyler. If they could all work together and come up with a decent plan, I'm sure they're working on it now, but update us, tell us what the current thinking is, ask us our opinion, just keep us in the loop. And because so many people are stopping subscriptions and why not? You know, I'm going to keep reason. I understand. Yeah, they've got reason to do it. So just keep us in the loop at least.
I feel like we've been here before, though. I feel like we go over this, and this is not a new thing. It's not the first time they've dropped shit from
this is a yearly phenomenon.
This is probably one of the worst. This feels like it's one of the worst times they've done it. But I do feel like we've been here before, and we're sitting there going, well, where's this content? Where's that content? Like, it happened when we had... it was called, for a start, it's called Around the Verse, which... the whole point was it was going around to all the different studios, which that obviously ended a long time ago. And, like, even that, like, like you said, there's like 500 people working on this game. They all must be doing something. So there must be some things they can kind of show us. The same as when there's like, and I understand the Squadron 42 bits and that, but like even if it's, I don't know, maybe they don't want to show people, like say they're working on the salvage mechanic. Like someone's got to be working on the salvage mechanic, right? Because it was meant to be in, and then it got abandoned. So someone's working on it.
Yeah, they must have something there.
Is it that they just don't want to show it? I mean, why not? Like, it's open development, and I think people would be just as appreciative to see, look, we've tried this, it just didn't work, but we can see what their process is. A bit like the RTV and seeing him design the helmet. Like I said, there's not necessarily any guarantee that this helmet's going to be in the game because they just churn through lots of concept designs. So show us the concept.
Just show the process of it.
Yeah, show us the process of you trying to do salvage and mechanic, and show us it failing. Show us because then maybe people's feedback of it would help. By saying, that looks that salvaging looks pretty cool. Oh, we liked what you did there, and then someone would go, oh, we didn't think the people would like that. Okay, maybe we'll introduce that. I don't know.
Think about it. There used to be a show called Bug Smashers. Now, because of the lawsuit, they obviously got then Crytek did the lawsuit, which, by the way, I think Crytek's filed another lawsuit, by the way. They
You offended me in court.
I mean, I think that maybe that gave them a bit of a scare because obviously they were showing code, and I think that maybe scared them. But like, just because something, just get a scare and then run away. It's like that's just the worst thing. Like, just learn from it and figure out what you need to do. Maybe you need to not necessarily show you coding, and you can maybe just.
I don't think he left because it was due to the lawsuit. It was more that he was needed.
Yeah, he was busy, wasn't he?
But his show was quoted in the lawsuit.
Sure, but that was not the reason that they stopped with Ask the Devs, or Bug Smashers.
Okay, that's what they said though. Like my opinion, granted, my opinion. Yeah. What they say is what they say, and if you can take it at face value, that's fine. And if we assume that that's the reason, but in my opinion, I think the reason was the lawsuit. That's just my thought on it. I think that had an impact, definitely, in terms of the type of content that they were putting out there. Because if Crytek was suing you, someone starts suing you over what they're seeing in that show, then you're going to be like, maybe we don't really want to be showing.
Well, yeah, it's risky, but I think his expertise was needed in the development at that time, and still. There was something said about that, but
fair enough. And yeah. Someone says he got promoted as well. Okay, fair dues. Yeah. But then it's a case of like, that's a cool show, and like it got canned. Like, okay, but what did people like about that show? I think people liked the fact that they got to see kind of like, again, that white box,
the fault things that are going wrong, and how they're tackling it. It's development. That's what it's showing, which is what people want. They want to see development, and that's exactly what it's showing.
Well, there were lots of things shown which never happened to me.
I found it boring.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it wasn't my thing. But if people like it, then not everything has to appeal to everybody. Right?
No,
it's just that they have to have that content, right? The content needs to be there. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to appeal to everyone. And but
you can. But the point is you don't have. You can change that a little bit. You can tweak it. Okay, like exactly what you just said is yes. Okay, I find it a bit boring at times, but they were bits that they showed that were pre-ATV. There were bits that they showed that were pre-patches. Sometimes he showed things and you'd see like builds and stuff that you were like, oh god damn, that's cool. And
that was quite revealing, wasn't it?
Cool. Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was like revealing on certain things, and sometimes some of the things they did, and that was a place where he was fixing bugs. Like he could have fixed, like, I don't know. A part of me is like, I want that, but like exactly what Miz was saying, and I've similar with the persistent PTU that we pay for from subscribers' money, where they just show us they work on all of their open development as much as they possibly want to give us, and we help them with testing early shit and doing more testing.
I think show us early stuff.
I think the problem is so the video we got, I think it was CitizenCon, the Frankfurt one, wasn't it? Or something was missing, and then they did that whole video afterwards of how it was when the Squadron 42 vertical slice wasn't in there, and like everyone was expecting it, and then they didn't deliver it on the day, everyone was pissed off, blah blah blah. But then afterwards they did a big video on like, we're sorry, this is what was going on, these are all the meetings we were having, look how close we were to getting it, we didn't want to cancel it. And like everybody loved that because it was like, it shows you the raw of what was going on. The honest this is game development. This is how we really tried to push to get it to work, and this is why it didn't work. But it feels to me now, maybe the lawsuit has something to do with it. You may have a good point, but I always felt like it was more against getting negative press from games magazines.
Yes.
But they seem to be afraid of showing bad things or buggy things or things not working. They seem to be really... And even in RTV, RTV, when they talk about the female model, they kind of prepped us for the female models being buggy. And as if like we shouldn't... And they go, oh, by the way, just bear in mind the female models are going to be buggy. It's like, as Chris says, no shit. It's alpha. We shouldn't be expecting it not to be buggy. And are they trying to deliver it to us not buggy? Because that's pointless endeavor to do anyway.
It's gone a bit sort of backwards for a long while now, and I think it is more just down to they don't want to, like, as soon as they started getting slated for having a buggy alpha, which everyone expects anyway, they stopped showing us really early behind the scenes stuff. And I understand with Squadron 42, keep that separate. We don't need to see that. It's a single player campaign. We don't want to ruin it. But with everything PU, I want to see things from the minute they start code. I don't demand it. I just mean I would be happy to see things the minute they start coding it, to the pitfalls, the difficulty, the good stuff, the breakthroughs, just anything. Like when they started doing, I can't think of an example, but they used to show us everything from the very beginning, through and through. Every week you would see a new update on something different. And now they've stopped, and they're very, very selective of what they show us.
Yeah. Well, at first I was having that feeling that I was living that journey with them, we're doing this and that, and this failed and that failed, and we had to go back and rewrite tools, and now I'm like, nice cave, but why? Show me something of microtech, show me this, show me whatever is unseen yet, and in a future patch. So it hasn't been too hard. Just give us more.
Yeah, give more.
Give us everything.
Yeah.
I do think if they started showing us more behind the scenes stuff, and I understand they're worried because a lot of new backers might come in, not know the process, and think, wow, this is really even now, like when we saw the caves, a lot of people were saying, oh, they look terrible. And you think, of course they look fucking terrible. It's a prototype. They're not supposed to be beautiful and all glammed and whatnot. So it's like, just give us something, little snippets of whatever you can or whatever you're working on. And I like that. And I just think they're kind of a bit worried and a bit scared of presenting that in a semi-development state,
Yeah.
But I think that's like underappreciating your followers and your fans, though, because we've all played. I mean, early access game is the thing in the last year or two. Like everything's an early access game, and most people are getting access to playing a fully fledged game that's not finished. I don't know if that's even correct because it's not, but you know what I mean. So they're playing like a potential full game, but that's being built upon. So we're seeing. So when you're playing those, you're seeing them being updated every time. You're seeing the changes that are going into it, and people understand. Like for now, when people are looking at it saying the caves are shit, that's because we haven't heard anything about it, and all of a sudden it goes, here's my cave. So the longer you withhold information about stuff you're doing, the more people are coming to expect, especially when they're showing more polished stuff. So that means when you do try to show something that's not polished, everyone's going, fucking hell, that looks really shit. It's because you're setting your bar too high that now you can't show us anything without the high bar. If you had show, like, I've seen loads of games where you see, even games where they don't do this open development, you still get snippets of artwork and information and videos, and they'll show you this was concept 1, this is now it being slightly developed, and this is now and you see the timeline, and I don't see what's wrong with seeing. People like to see that timeline, and it's like they're afraid to show us it.
Yep,
It's interesting.
they're quite lost.
I think you're right in the sense. There's a few things like I completely agree. When you create your audience to be like programmed to a certain level, like that's what you've created. I completely agree, because then the minute you don't do that, and then you then try and say to them, oh yeah, but by the way, it's not very good because of this and this. It's like you've created the monster. You know what I mean? You created the group of people that are you can't get angry at them when they suddenly say this is shit. You're like, oh, no, but it's it's like you've been doing that. Yeah, I completely agree. The other thing for me, the thing that really kind of like grating on me is a few things, and we talked about this briefly before, and we've talked about it on the previous one. This is the thing that annoys me. What's happening to Faceware? Why is you spoke about the web page being updated properly? You did a half-assed update on the web page. What's happening to the rest of the update to the web page? Because then you cannot tell me that was the update to the web page. You put a front cover, a little bit of skin, and made it work.
Interrupt you just a second. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can you try reconnecting to Discord because you are badly roboting compared to everybody else? So your argument's going to get lost otherwise. So we'll.
Is that better?
Hello?
Yeah.
That seems better.
Okay, no, that's good. Like, if that happens again, let me know. So, like, what's happened to the Faceware? Why is that? It's been over a year. They said it was be early 2018. They've gone quiet. Bot pointed out that it's no longer on the web page.
It's on the roadmap, though. I don't. What do you mean? What's happened? Because the FIPE and VoIP improvements version 3 are coming in March.
Doing it to you now.
Yes, that's his normal voice. What's going on with like the web page is not updated? Like, what's going on? It was the first time on the web page we had like a shiny new cover, and it was but it's still the same shit inside. It's like they had the meeting of January. What came about of the meeting of January?
Your voice is good. It sounds like you're using one of those auto-tuners in like an 80s track.
Let me try a different server for Discord because it's happening to. A bit of share going on. Let me just change our thing to simple.
Don't you just love Discord?
It's a Monday night. That's it always waits for the podcast to go live and then it fucks about with updates and whatnot.
I've changed the Asylum server just to Europe. See if that helps. Whether it's UK update.
Welcome to Europe, folks. Welcome to Europe.
Stay in Europe just for a little bit longer before we exit.
By the webpage, do you mean the Faceware webpage?
What? No,
their own webpage and Spectrum and the integration with mobile. And
like Turbulent
organization and
doing something.
And the and ship matrix.
The ship matrix. What the fuck?
Yeah, why? Why do they not update that? I'm hoping with the ship matrix thing, because it should have been kept up to date from the offset. I'm hoping with 3.5, they are tuning all the ships, aren't they? And getting the rotation speeds, getting the yaw speeds, and all these different informations tuned and up to date so that for 3.5, probably not all the ships, but most of the ships should be accurate. And if that's the case, then they should get the ship thing, because that's such an important piece of the game, because everyone judges their own ships based on that, and you can't. I'm looking on like Wikipedia for StarCitizen to try and find the default loadout for the ships at the moment.
I think they will wait until the tuning and tweaking, which will take a really long time, my guess.
True.
Until that's finished.
But I think if they can do that, if they can do it for 3.5, because they've said they're tweaking the ships in 3.5, if that's the point at which they get them tweaked to a new standard, start there. Hopefully they can find a way of addressing the roadmap, because it'd be nice to have someone keeping up with that.
Mm-hmm.
But just, again, it's the communicate. It's just like the biggest thing is just the lack of communication. It's like, you tell us you're going to do something, then you do barely a tenth of it. And then you move on to something else. Then you do a tenth of that, and you move on to. It's like the way I imagine CIG, the web pages that it sums up, in my opinion, probably how their whole business works. Fucking disorganized, all over the place. That's the way I kind of.
I don't want to put it like that.
No, that's my view on it. Like, it's like if you come into my house and my desk is a bomb site. That's pretty much how I kind of am a little bit. I'm a bit disorganized, but it's in my own kind of way. It's my own organized mess, but to everybody else, it's confusing and mess. But to me, it kind of makes sense. That's kind of like how I envision like it is. It's like their webpage kind of makes sense to them, but to every other normal person out there, it's a complete mess, really, trying to figuring out where you're going, what you're doing. And so that's kind of what I mean. It's
we don't see everything that's going on the inside. There are a lot more meetings. There is really a structure. Otherwise, you couldn't hold this whole organization together.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it than just face value. You can't look at something and go, that's not right. Someone needs to be blamed for that. It's deeper than that, I'm sure.
But I think it's a systematic result of probably many other things. I think the way I look at it is like if you go into a person's garage and you see everything's all neat and orderly and all over the place, that pretty much sums up pretty much the type of person they are and the type of business that they're running. That usually means that everything's going to be neat, everything's going to be ordered, everything's going to be on time, everything's going to be in the right place.
Or they're just serial killers.
No, seriously. Like, because like I see it when I see factories as well. When I go in my business and I go to shoes and I see really badly run factories. Usually everything is all over the place. You don't know what materials. It's all a bit of a mess. It's like their organized mess, but it's a bit of a mess. And no wonder things are late, not on time, and all the rest of it. Then I go to another factory and I see everything is neat and tidy. And they've got people doing, organizing this, organizing that, making sure this is in the right place, making sure that's in the right place. And they've got people doing specific tasks, like bought specifically to do that. And you see everything's on time, everything runs really smoothly, and you just kind of go, I see that, and then I kind of go, it's in my head. I go, this is just a systematic. It just shows there's definitely disorganization and lack of communication and messiness that seems to go on there, and it's spilling out at times into all over the place. It's 10th of this, 10th of that, many different offices all over the place. Turbulent is a part of. It's not it's they're working with them, so. Yeah. You can see that. I know from other people who work closely with them, they talk about how the frustrations of information taking a long time, and then they're changing their mind, and all of this stuff kind of leads to that. And it's definitely a culture of confusion. It feels and not finishing.
I think they like confusion though, because
just my opinion.
A good example is the tutorial videos that they just pushed.
Oh yeah.
So come on, I mean, if we're talking about nice and organisation, I think Toby did say something like they've been out for a little while, which I know there was a tutorial section on the website, but I don't know if these were the videos.
There's two things about that. Firstly, where were they? And secondly, why wait till now?
And were they part of this they had a competition, didn't they, to make tutorial videos?
Yeah.
I mean, is this the result of the winner? I mean,
2 weeks before the new flight model comes out, when I saw them go live, I was like, yes!
Yeah.
Some content.
I thought they were going to teach me to do that.
I was exactly commenting, going like, I was actually watching it, so I was like, I'll comment, but I'll watch that later while Rachel was in the toilet and coming to watch a film. So I was like, right, I'll watch that later. And then I run off and tweet it out.
I know, because you tweeted like, yes, brilliant. I'm like, Mac, what are you talking about?
And then it's like, what the fuck is this? Why 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the new flight model, are they showing you how to fly in the old model? It's like, whose decision was it just to go, don't put them out, we'll create some new ones. Send them.
Wait. I heard about these. I thought this was like they sent them out.
Have you not seen them?
I thought they... No.
Don't watch.
I thought they...
More salt!
Oh, God. What's even worse
they sent these videos out ahead of the new flight model, so they're prepared. So they said, this is what the new model's coming, and you're well prepared. And
it's what everyone thought. Logically, that's what they should have been.
How was he not seen?
And he's gone.
Off back to Path of Exile. But what's stupid, I never even saw those videos in the first place, but they were up somewhere on the website, which is like, A, why the fuck did I not see them? Because I'm on the website pretty much all day long. How have I not seen them? And B, why wait till now?
I don't know. We're 2.5 weeks out, and I wouldn't have done it.
When I saw it, I honestly was super excited. I thought, here we go.
Maybe now it's just the intern putting it out, and I don't know.
Intern's putting out.
In my opinion, bad move, or a very confusing move.
It's like talking about what Madness was on about how disorganized. I don't think it is, but it certainly looks that way. And when things like that happen, it just looks bad on the outside, because people already slate this game, and if it looks like someone is incompetent, like ultimately it's probably someone's fault for just being like, oh, just put them up, we should have put them up, but put them up now, whereas someone like Chris should have been like, although it's not his job, no, that's ridiculous. Should have just given the reward to the person that did the tutorial video and say, well done, really good job, can you do the same again for 3.5 because we've taken too long to put it up, so we're not going to put them up. Like, it was it was really bad, really, because I'm Evo Cardi and I thought, oh, this will teach me how to fly so I can actually go and test the game properly, and then it didn't teach me how to fly because it didn't teach me anything. And I was just like, oh, seriously, this is
I just couldn't believe it, to be honest. I mean, it's
It was
a
shocking.
piss poor decision. Like, considering when, like I said, that they seem to not want to release stuff because they don't want to cause the argument or the confusion, and then they do stuff like that, and it's just.
Yeah, I was a bit
Somebody
ashamed.
try and
Somebody
defend
spin it
them,
good.
and it's like,
Someone
we
give
can't
me
defend you.
Someone give me a good spin. Someone give me a good spin on that, please. What was good about
The
that?
good spin on it
Someone,
is that they were
please.
good tutorials, apparently, but I didn't bother watching them because I didn't see the point. But yeah,
I watched a few of them, and then I started slowly realizing that this isn't the new flight model. And then I started, I was literally in bed. I was like, right, here we go. Okay, that's quite a nice take on that. No, the fuck? Sleep time.
I need a bag over here to hyperventilating just with just the shit.
I mean, the only thing I can say is I think it wasn't all based around the flight model, so I think some of them may be slightly usable, just not the flight model.
How to create an account. How to buy a ship is basically the one that's kind of usable. The rest probably won't apply anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, but literally that is closed. That's literally if I was in a lawyer kind of scenario in a court, I would literally that would be it. And ladies and gentlemen, I rest my fucking case on my point that I was making earlier. Dear Lord, everyone else, all the people, all the old ladies, be like, "Yo, he's got a good point, yeah, man. He's fucking too right."
So I mean, this is for playing the devil's advocate. Not that I don't really see how, but people are saying that. So I know that there were some people kind of defending it, saying, "Well, it's still valid at the moment." Okay, it is.
Yeah, for new people,
and that
about a week.
StarCitizen is planning on updating these tutorial videos, keeping them constantly updated.
Like the ship matrix. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
And the website.
We'll see about that.
10% update coming, confirmed.
Yeah, I mean,
You logo.
I mean,
front cover.
like we are all fans of StarCitizen here, just in case you're wondering.
True.
We do our
Yeah, big
best
fan.
to believe it, see the good in it, see the defense in it, but sometimes they do things, and you just feel like I don't really know what we can do to defend that, and you just can't.
We
It was
don't
just a-
have to defend it.
No.
That's,
Hopefully someone's having a bit of a telling off in the studio, like, well, you shouldn't have done it, should you? You couldn't.
Of course, unless the flight model's not out for another 4 months, and then it's fine.
well, by the end of the year, we have all forgotten this, and we are happy campers.
And we're happy, like we were the last, like literally. If I could go back
yeah.
like 4 months, I was happy. I was so happy. I was like, yeah,
It's just a cycle we go through.
When we're in our 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever age we are now, 20 years' time, we're going to be sat around the bar citizen being, do you remember the time when they put those frigging tutorials out? And all these other things that they keep doing. We'll be laughing about it. We just got to get to that point.
it was much worse in my day. I can assure you. But like anyway, let's not beat up on them too hard. We beat them a little bit. Let's give them some positivity. I would say the guns are looking like the gun team is good job. Like the guns.
Oh,
are great.
I love the pistol.
Yeah, it's nice.
But 1 second, guys. 2-1, thank you for the sub. He's just basically said that we've reached our 10% of StarCitizen talk, so we can.
Oh,
start.
okay.
Auto cut off.
Women.
Thank you. We're done. I was like, 10% of salt. Bless them. We don't. Like I said, I don't want to get too hard. Let's talk about some positive stuff.
No,
then.
come on. So let's go on to let's go to ATV then. Let's talk about the good part of the week.
Yeah, let's talk about
which
the good
is ATV.
the
There was some good stuff there. So you started off with the guns. So let's talk about the guns.
Yeah, guns. Yeah, they were good. Really good.
Look really powerful. There was only one stance, and I don't think that what's his name again? Who is all about the moves and
Steven Seagal.
no, from
Chuck Norris.
CIG.
No.
Van
Sorry.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I know who you mean. Stephen Bender.
Bender.
Yeah.
You see,
Not quite his hero name,
they are
is it?
talking about the pistol. Now we're seeing the rifle, but the pistol, it's very powerful. It had a very big
Scope on it.
a very
On the
big
pistol.
what do you call it?
Recoil.
Recoil.
Mm.
But you will see in one of those clips that the person shooting the pistol is shooting like this.
Can someone
So-
answer me a question?
That way you will end up
Why-
with the pistol against your head.
Why is the revolver eject? Like,
Yeah, that's a good question. We've had this sort of discussion because it's like they have cylinders, and the cylinders are supposed to be ching, ching.
But what made me laugh was, on top of that as well, is they said that they were having a problem with it injecting cases because it was hitting them in the face. You feel like, don't do it because it doesn't need it.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, it's very true. But we've sort of like thought, well, 900 years in the future, maybe it's a way of expelling heat. I don't know. I'm not salt in any way because I'm not the salty one.
Just Mac making excuses.
I would like for them to have a weapons expert and consult with them about these weapons rather than just going off and making them because they may be good at what they do, but I'd like to think that they're actually consulting people. So with a 50 caliber, you stand like that, you don't stand like that. With the ejections, maybe they don't need it. Maybe it's just for the sake of it looking cool, which in a way, I don't know.
I think they have enough Americans as employees that could
Texas
tell
studio.
what. Yeah.
I'm just happy this rifle's got a scope. I like the fact we've got bigger revolvers. I think that's kind of dope. I mean, they're a good team. They're kind of getting it together. They're producing cool guns. We're getting more variety of the guns. I'm waiting for the attachments. Obviously, that's a big thing that's coming. So I'm looking forward to seeing attachments that work and stay on the guns rather than disappear into lifts and stuff. So that's going to be great. So
when you look at the weapons we have in game now, like the handheld weapons, they are all amazing. I cannot wait for the day when I lay them all out on my kitchen table. Yeah. And just sort of go through them and attach things.
We're going to sell roleplay Americans.
Oh, yeah.
It's so cool.
I don't know what's better, though.
These are my weapons.
I have no idea what's good because I don't have the scopes, because I can't put like a red dot sight, because like some of it's all iron sights, most of them, and it's like...
Yeah.
I mean, I watch Rexzilla and a lot of the other people who do these big battles, and...
How do they see anyone?
Kind of like, and he's like, you get a little X, yay, I hit him. I tagged him X, I tagged him again. It's kind of like, okay.
I would actually prefer it if in StarCitizen they don't have a hit marker. You know, like how armor doesn't allow you to know that you've hit someone, and so you can just lay down suppressive fire and hope to God, and then you're sort of waiting to think, have I got it? Have I not? I think that would be
more realistic. That'd be more realistic, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. For StarCitizen,
definitely
a realistic game.
See, like when they say about this balance between Battlefield and armor. To me, I love armor, but it's a bit too real. Battlefield is a bit too arcadey. If they can find the in-between mix, but without the hit markers. I mean, the fact that they're bringing in 3.6 the ability to turn your head, like
separate from
it. Yeah, I think that's something that I think is going in the right direction, and I want it to be tactical. I don't want it to be a case of, right, well, I've just got the marker that tells me I've killed him, or it's popped up on screen saying you have killed this person. As long as that's not in, I think we'll have a much more tactical
50
bit of
points.
FPS.
You have killed this person.
Yeah. Numbers popping above the head. 10, death.
Floating damage numbers.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that, like, I don't know anyone else when I was playing SPK, like, whenever I'm just one of those people, like, whenever I would look in the other direction, that's when somebody would come through the door and kill me. It's like, it's so the fact that I can now do that, I'm just going to be dead all the time because I'll be constantly, oh shit, dead again. Oh,
and isn't it, like, tactically, isn't it viable that when you're actually aiming down sight, you're supposed to turn and actually turn with your barrel? You're not supposed to turn independently because, like you say, that's the point at which someone there, I can't do anything about it because he's looking at me.
My gun's facing the other way.
Already shot me.
Yeah.
That's totally going to be me, though, because I'm going to keep forgetting. I'll be so out of sync all the time. I'll be like, no.
Whoa.
Where's my? I know where my head is, but because, like, obviously when you're physically doing it, you know where your hands are, but it's a bit harder in a game when you're mouse.
It does take a bit of time, doesn't it? Like, if you've ever played Armour and you're trying to aim down sights using TrackCat or TrackIR, there is a bit of that, like, whoa.
In VR, that's really difficult. That's why they created those gun add-ons. Yeah.
Okay, I've got a question for you, right? So you can put one animation move into the game. What would you do? And I'll tell you what mine is to kind of kick us off. So mine would be the diving forward, firing. That's kind of like my kind of move into the game.
The Matrix,
like,
Max Payne.
Yeah,
Max Payne.
Max Payne. Oh, what a game
awesome.
that was.
Your wheels.
Yeah.
The moonwalk. Ash.
Bullet time.
Yeah.
Ash goes for the moonwalk. Did anyone see the Michael
moonwalk
Jackson
every day. What are you on
documentary?
about?
No, I
didn't.
haven't. No.
Okay.
I saw
Same for
what it's
YouTube.
about. I didn't watch it.
Stick in comments at the bottom in YouTube. Stick in comments what you would, if you know, what would be your move if you could put any animation move into StarCitizen that's dope. Chuck it in the comments box. That'd be awesome.
Scared goat freeze.
If there's anyone left after the first section.
Yeah, probably not. I want Max Payne bullet time. Can we have that?
Yeah.
Just and the sideways dive, like 2 pistols.
Okay, here we go. The Carlton dance.
I think we'll get dual wielding revolvers.
That's
You're going to
always
be able to dual wield the revolver.
Oh, that would be very cool, wouldn't it? Coders. What about though with the coder being able to put like an old cowboy revolver swivel thing and put it into a holster?
Ocelot revolver. Like I'll always remember the bit when you first meet Ocelot revolver and he's like spinning his guns around and shit like that in the game, and I was just like, dude, that is the coolest. And then he's like, if he hit you with those things, it hurt. I always remember running around going. Going around in a square.
What about pretty much all the moves in the Matrix? You know, like backwards bullet dodge, and running up the walls,
or that equilibrium thing,
stopping the bullets,
stopping the bullets. That's the one I actually want.
Oh, gun martial arts, whatever it's called. Like
that equilibrium film. That was cool.
I can't wait till we get like CQC. I'm hoping they could do like some jiu-jitsu style kind of like John Wick style moves in the game. You can kind of grab people and grapple them.
5 extra years added to the game development, guys.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry.
But
they can't even get him walking in a straight line.
Chris has said it, hasn't he? Chris has said about martial arts and different martial arts and going somewhere to like Banu Protectorate and then learning something. A bit like Shenmue, traveling around, finding different... No, you don't. Works every time.
Unless you do that. With only 2 fingers. Stopping your toe.
Fall over mechanic. Tripping. That would be, to be fair though, because they have the mechanics for like afterburners failing. They do probably need the trip or the shoelaces tied animation in the game.
Leg failures.
Leg failures.
Leg degradation failure.
You're running into battle. You just watch all these.
Everyone's just like,
That won't be me. My condition is really terrible.
Yeah, I mean, they said people are going to be fat and unhealthy in this. So, like, if you did a day of running, do you wake up the next day and just like go to stand up out of bed and just collapse because your legs
instead of 5 minutes, it takes you 50 minutes to get out of bed.
What happens if you don't take a shower before you get into action?
Flies.
There's no one around you. There's literally your own in battle.
You can't stealth it because people can hear all the flies and all the shit. Hang on, hear the shit.
Hear the shit. Smell it.
Right.
As long as you're.
I don't know what you're like, but if I miss one shower, I'm not generally got flies buzzing around my head.
Well,
it's a game.
Crank it up, yeah. Realism
you are.
and fun.
Okay.
It's more fun to be covered in shit.
I don't know about anybody else, but I've had those moments when I come out to the gym and, you kind of maybe haven't had much time, so you're just like, okay, I'll just kind of see how we get on. And next thing you know, it's like, bzzz, run your desk. You're just like, fuck, shit. Am I really that bad? Holy fuck.
Go away.
Go away. You're giving away the fact I haven't had a shower. Right now. God damn it.
Wait a minute, you have one armpit that smells, and the other one smells fine now. You're like, what have I been doing with this side of my body more than this one?
That's when
I can probably guess.
When you get out of the shower,
no comment.
And you have that. When you get out of the shower and you have that situation, when you get out of the shower and you have that situation, that's when you're kind of like, oh, that's weird. Like,
my cousin could do that. He literally gets a shower and he's like, you still smell. Get back in the shower. Get some Brillo pads.
Get water running.
Yeah. Get some
Soap,
around in it.
water. That's generally the things you have when you step inside that cubicle. Not just. It's not a hairdryer.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all been there. We've done it.
What we're talking about again?
Well, I don't know.
Guns.
Do you know what? I was going to say, do you know what's interesting about Death of the Spaceman? Because like, it was on Captain's table and they were discussing Death of the Spaceman, and like some people was like, obviously, Chris is they maintain vehemently. Is that a word?
I don't know, but it sounds cool.
they defend it 100%.
Man.
That is going to be what they're doing, and there's no, the Death of Spaceman is going to be in the game. So I treat that as like that's happening. So. What is interesting is like if obviously your death means something and is meaningful, like, and also there's going to be age mechanics, I believe, in the game, so your character will die of old age. I suppose. So what that means is if you face up against if you know that you see a combat pilot on a Zimmer frame or a mobility scooter getting to his combat ship, watch out, because that dude is a really good pilot because he's been around a long time.
I think it's more scars. If someone's covered in scars, either if their account's been going for a long time, then they're probably really good. But if it's like a fresh one, did they say that we're going to age?
Rexzilla's army, you'll know the ones who are really good will be the guy just like on the Zimmer frame or the kind of mobility scooter with his gun just placed on
They'll have guns mounted on the Zimmer frames. Triggers on the Zimmer frames with fucking Gatling guns on the side of it.
Who is Zimmer, and why do you call it a Zimmer frame?
You know, Alfred Zimmer. He was Austrian, and he created this.
Hans Zimmer. He created the Zimmer frame as well.
I'm kidding. I have no idea, but
fuck you. I was already googling.
I'm doing it now. Yeah.
Austrian.
Alfred.
I'm sure this is not real.
Oh shit!
Where did the name? Zimmer Holdings.
Zimmer.
It's probably named after the company that first invented and
founded in 1927. There you go.
Zimmerfrei.
Zimmerfrei?
Yeah.
No, we don't fry them, they're frames.
That's a room you can rent.
Yeah.
Zimmerfrei.
What happens in this room?
Yeah, I think what's interesting is with Death of the Space Band, what we'll do is if they can get Arena Commander, and they've obviously hired a team, I really think there's an opportunity with Arena Commander and Star Marine, especially with Arena Commander, to really turn that into a fantastic place for combat pilots to go to fly in. I think they should really invest in it, in truth. And I think it would really help a lot of the people who are grumbling about the persistent universe getting wipoed out in the PU, like in jump towns and all that stuff, because if honestly, if Arena Commander's really, really popping, that's where you'll be. That's where I'll be. I know that for a fact. Like, I will go into Jump Town now and again, but I won't be there as much. But if Arena Commander is popping and it is fun and combat is just lit up and it's just awesome, and then we have more than one game mode, by the way. You know, we
sounds
have
more
lots
like
of
a
different
disco
scenarios,
than a fight.
atmosphere. Yeah, well, yeah, whatever you want to call it, but good, really fun.
Pop in and lit up.
You know, not to say people won't do a PU, but. Yeah,
I'm intrigued by, you know, when Todd Poppy had his RTV, which was maybe a month ago, a month and a half. He mentioned that he's going to a meeting afterwards to talk about the strike teams for AC and Star Marine.
Yeah,
I do think that now they have a lot more relevance, because obviously they originally started honing everything into those two places. Then they thought, well, we'll just put it in the PU and let everyone have a go with it. But now I think there's more reason, because it takes ages to earn cash, or it can do. It's, you know, you can grind, there's bugs. I think it's important now to get everything into Arena Commander. Maybe not Star Marine just yet. 3.5, focus on the flight model, get Arena Commander working, get some new flight modes in, get a new racing map in atmosphere and in space, because Ellis, the whole Murray Cup thing, I don't know if that's like high altitude, so how would that affect the ships? And I think if they could actually get the AC mode on its own, just as it is, getting that up to date, I think a lot of people would come back. And I would play that because it's like, yeah, it's great jumping into the PU, but it requires a lot more patience and a lot of effort. Whereas Arena Commander is something there just for quick action.
Battle Royale,
instant action. Yeah.
It's like Battle
Royale.
I
hoped. Yeah.
You just jump in. Like it used to be, like if you don't want to do anything in PU, or you want to, you just want to hone your
You've got 20 minutes to kill.
Yeah, it just bumps straight in there. You know, just goes hop in.
I think the difficulty is people that want to fight are forcing it upon maybe people that don't want to fight on in the PU. And now, obviously, when the game's out, there'll be ways of avoiding that. There'll be repercussions and all that. But at the moment, there's not. Yeah. So it's like, and then the bored people that want to fight are just shooting at any random person, hoping that they might kick back.
What happened.
Whereas, realistically, if you have, and like I said, I played Jumpgate, and it was the same thing. They had an arena in there that you could do, and people could try any of the ships, and so people went in there and they tried different loadouts, and there was like constantly battles there. So it didn't take it away. There was still plenty of battles in the universe, but like, don't forget, this is like when it's a game. At the moment, it could do with making Arena Commander more playable, like you're saying, so that it can draw those people that want to do that into that section. Then the people that want to practice their mining can go mine. And it's not until realistically we don't have that full. I think that's what Chris was saying. Harry wants the full game loop in the game. Once we get that, then you can maybe start introducing more of the combat and everything else in the game. people would be more interested in the PU. But without that game loop, you're better off. Like if AC was working properly, you could earn your rec, you could earn your ships, you could rent stuff, try different loadouts. It's a whole game within itself, really.
The whole of EA, that electronic access, that could be for the console players.
I don't know why they don't merge. This is my thing. Like, why they don't merge, like Battlefront, the original one, merged airplane, like space combat, with physical gun combat. So you could spawn in. You can choose to spawn in and have a spaceship, or you could choose to spawn in and be spawned into the station, where there is FPS going on in the station. And then you take the combat into a far more complicated space where you have people maybe flying around, in space with their guns. You have people flying all over the place, shooting things and then you could turn whatever's inside the middle or whatever.
A bit like back in the day when we had Korea, when people were fighting over that. Like if you just had that in an arena, so people could respawn their ships and everything else. We had both. We had people defending it from the air. We had people fighting on the ground. It was,
there is so much potential for AC, and I'm sure eventually when later down the line, I'm sure we'll have loads of different, like Capture the Address was supposed to be something they've been thinking about fucking link and a half.
Wow.
But it's like there's so much potential they can put into it. But if they could just start with at least a flight mode, an atmospheric flight mode. Like, take the current ones and just have different maps and then expand on them and do the combine down stuff and whatnot.
And give us an ATV about it. Give us an RTV. Give us a talk about what you want to do genuinely want to do with it. What's the plan for it? We don't really know again. It's this lack of communication. If you had the meeting with Todd, was it a month ago or whatever the RTV was, we're all dying here to find out what the plan is with some of these extra pieces, the Star Marines and stuff. Like I said, for me, there's an opportunity to make Arena Commander. You can turn it into like in Guild Wars where you have it's not like one fight and it's done. It just keeps going where you have the red team versus the blue team, and people jump into the blue team and you jump into the red team, and it's constant. And the blue team could win for whatever, but then all of a sudden the time shifts and the Russians come on, and then all of a sudden they suddenly become the green team, or what you have multiple team areas, location areas, and they're dominating the space and they're fighting, and then the Americans wake up and then they come in, and you could turn that into a much more constant fight, and you make the rewards freaking cool as well. By the way, you make the rewards good. People get good shit. They get flares. They get gear. They get loads of wreck, and you make that just constant. You don't have to make it so it's like for 20 minutes it stops. Just make it all the time.
But if you look at it, I get from what they were trying to do, which is like, well, the whole point was you can do this in the PU. That's what they were aiming for. This is, the AC, they want you to do it in the PU, which is why they kind of stopped developing it. And I think it's still possible. I think it could be possible to be done. However, I think what they've done is, because they're trying to prepare us for when the game's released. All of this, you can't spawn your ship because it's on a timer, and the insurance kick in and all that. It's killing that side of it. It's killing the constant fight and the PvP. I think, realistically, we don't need, and I've said it a lot of times before, we don't need that mechanic in the game yet. We don't need insurance yet. We don't need to sit there and wait to claim for our ships yet. If we could just, we didn't when we used to fight at security post. We would just go in, fly. If our ship blew up and die, we'd respawn and fly back again. They're stretching everything out, putting in the full game mechanics when it's nowhere near ready as a game. And I think if you took that out and then put, say, something that was constantly fluctuating at, say, the outpost to draw people there, the same as the Widow run, but actually like a more gamey mechanic, saying, one team holds it, one team against it, and that constantly flowed. I mean, I'm not fleshing out, but if they had something there that teams could actually join in on, that would cause a lot of fighting to just go there, because that what you do to, I'm going to log in, I'm going to go to security post. I'm going to go to, if I want to fight, that's where I'm going to go. And so it could be involved in the PU. It doesn't need to be an AC. But I think everything else is restricting it too much.
I think AC would be a great place to test the AI as they're building that out, because it isolates them into a certain test environment that isn't going to be... I suppose, no, that's the difference, isn't it? Is the AI in multiplayer is different to the single player. But I would like to think that they're going to get the strike team done, because it's as unimportant kind of as AC is, because the PU is there for that reason. I think there's a lot of people that would benefit from it, and it would give us a lot more to do and be more forgiving to the PU.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Ryan.
No,
I'm laughing at
it's
the
fucking
stupid
burger.
comment of Starburger.
Putting us off.
What are we saying about air conditioning?
Hey, I'm telling you right now, it's hot in here. With these lights on me,
It is
it's
actually
hot.
quite hot.
Oh,
I'm talking about AC right now.
Of course we
but
are.
yeah, good points. Good points.
But no,
Moving on.
I'd be fascinated to see what they do, and I think there's huge opportunity. I think keeping it in like an old school format from like 12 years ago for me just feels lazy, and not really the StarCitizen way. I'd like to think they're a bit more innovative and a bit more creative. I think the reality is if this is supposed to be part of the PU, then make it just physically make it a bit of the PU and turn it into something.
Make a free-to-play battle royale.
Whatever they want.
This may well be why they've gone
'Cause I don't
quiet.
need more
That might
load
be coming
screens.
out.
You've gone too far.
I don't need.
Uh,
But I just think they could.
2020, guys. That's what it's going to be. StarCitizen Battle
Mhm.
Royale. That's why they've gone quiet. That's why the roadmap's emptied.
Mark
They're
our
working on a
words.
battle royale. Heard it here first.
Scrapped.
Marine Battle Royale. Okay, so we'll move on from that.
Okay.
I think that was a good
Here's a
chat.
question: Has there been any updates on the no-fly zones being made?
Not yet, I believe. No.
I think, isn't that part of the law system that they pushed to 3.7.6, where the idea is instead of having an armistice zone, they're going to have actual security guards that will just shoot at you if you start firing.
Could be.
Which is all why these auto-aim stuff, I think me and I spoke about last week, is probably one of the reasons why all this auto-aim shit is coming into the game at the moment, because they're gearing up for this stuff mainly to be used for the NPCs.
It could be. It could be to do with the AI stuff, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it. I think, and Miz looks at it similar. I think he was the one saying it, and I was like, yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I think that makes sound sense if you think about, if you look at the roadmap and look at where they're going to, that would make sense. You need that in place to be able to, reduce the no-fly zones and the armistice zones. You're going to drop it, and the AI has to hit. It can't be like the stations at the moment, which do nothing. You know what I mean? If you you literally stand next to a station, you can just watch the bullets go past you.
Mhm.
I don't
Shoot
think they do any
across the
damage
bow.
either, do they?
It's just not good. It's not good.
They're trying.
I wonder when Port Olisar is going to go as well. That's the other thing I'm curious about.
I
Again,
don't
how many
think it will
questions?
anymore. I don't
When's
think
it
it, because it was sort of mentioned, wasn't it, a while ago that they're getting rid of it and they're putting in a truck stop or whatever. And I think now it's been there so long, I don't think they're going to get rid of it. I think it's going to be one of these stations that might have a bit of law behind it, where it's been there ever since this date, and so it's going to remain there and it's going to be left open.
They
But
should
in all
make an
honesty,
event
though,
of it.
They
100
should get rid of
tugboats.
it.
Yeah, move it.
And then move it around.
100 sticks
I mean,
of dynamite.
Maybe
I
they
heard
should
they're
make
putting
it like
trains.
Kovalax. Like maybe they should
Oh,
replace it with a
derelict.
truck stop, but make it derelict, so like so you can go on land and exploit. Because the layout of it's shit. Like we've said this like from day one. It's like you have to go over from land. There's no internal.
yeah.
There's no internal way of crossing over to the other side in that. So it's
There
doesn't-
is, but they've not opened it. Like if you look around Port Olisar, you could see their
because there's
plan
nothing there
to
Yeah, but
open
they
it
didn't
and to
do
have the
it,
struts. Yeah, but it's that sign's been up for years. It's like the workmen around Brid. Takes them forever.
Exactly.
Diversions,
So I think it's easier to replace it with a truck stop and then just put it somewhere that you could fly to.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever get rid of it for the sake of it being
No.
Port
Just
Olisar.
crash it on a planet somewhere. In Hurston. Or...
Yeah, derelict
Make a
Port
wreck.
Olisar on like Daymar or somewhere. I
Yes.
think when they address Crusader, they'll
In
probably
a cave.
readdress it. Yes, somehow it's managed to land straight through into the hole.
Straight from the sinkhole into a cave.
Yeah.
Well,
Boom.
they could easily make that like a fun mission, like kind of like Port Olisar was kind of taken by an alien race, like vanished, and no one knows where it was and where it is, and now you have to try and find it and find the clues to
Find-
uncover where Port Olisar.
We've had Where's
It's a
Wally, we've
fact.
got Where's Port
Definitely.
Olisar.
Yeah.
Where is Port Olisar? Yeah, like the Ark, exactly. That.
But it's like,
Oh,
So much fun.
holy shit.
Engelschatten!
Angel.
Thank you very
Wow,
much
look
for
at
the
that.
sub bomb there. Very much appreciated, sir. I can't remember what we're saying.
Oh, actually, whilst we're talking about this, like, just a massive shout out from myself. And we should have probably done this at the beginning of the show, but we got distracted talking about beer. Just a big shout out from myself and Miz. Like, we have a target of 2,000 for the year, and within 6 days, we had already bypassed almost 6. I think we were up 60% of the target. thanks to some really kind and generous donations from people that obviously like what we do and stuff. So like massive thank you from us, because like it's amazing. We still obviously have a little bit more to go to get to the finished result, but we have the rest of the year, so no rush.
No rush.
No rush. So but like honestly, yeah, like it was pretty emotional. I got pretty emotional about it actually, thinking about it, and
it's crazy.
really
People
cool.
are crazy. It was meant to be just
like,
something that it's just our aim for this year, because we've been doing the podcast for a year and a half plus, and it was just like we need to upgrade some shit. So it was like, we're trying to say,
let's see if, we thought we might get like £400-500. I think was kind of like, we thought maybe we'd get one of the things. We had no idea like the response that people would give. So yeah, like we still obviously we want to try and hit the finish the 2K and stuff, but like just already with what the generosity is just amazing. So thank you so much from myself, and I'm sure Miz can, it's awesome. It's just awesome.
Very much appreciated.
Fuck, it's just totally awesome.
I think the bot's just catching up with everything.
Yeah.
Well, someone did something. Jesus. Okay.
Do you know what? Also is really cool with the latest stuff that I really like is the new mission giver. She is smoking hot, and she's British.
Oh yes.
Damn, sexy lady, and she's a badass
you
as well,
mentioned
and
it.
she's evil.
Let's have a little look.
So good.
Have you looked at that haircut they shown off? That was
Well, that one.
incredibly. Well, I can't see it yet.
She's wearing a hood, so no.
I mean, I would be nervous of receiving a hand shandy because her hand is metal, but other than that, this is pretty good.
I don't think her hand is metal. It's got like metal over it, so she's got a normal hand still. It's like a support, almost like a brace. It's not a full cyborg hand like the one with the cyborg leg. No.
Oh, it's like kind of like
it's like a metal glove.
Homeless people gloves. That means she could crush you like a little, like a cashew nut.
Well, it says she had an injury, so it could be linked to that. Like not full on lost a hand, but maybe the nervous system.
Cyber kink.
I was actually also looking at the hologram in the background. Is that part of a commercial? Is it standing?
That's a good point, actually.
Is it standing freely in the middle?
Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Something
it's cool,
Glass
isn't it?
says.
Yeah, it's like a big. I think they said Arcos like this really big neon jungle sort of Blade Runner style place. I can't remember what I saw recently that was similar.
I'm just like literally when I saw her, and then when obviously you see the mocap with her talking and acting and stuff, and this is what I want. Like I want more. Like I just want to see more cool female characters who are kind of badasses.
Define cool.
Look good. just like that, like kind of bad, like
the concept art,
the drawings,
awesome,
the concept art is fantastic. They're great. I love the just interesting and not like typical. She can be pretty, that's fine. There's nothing wrong, but like it's kind of quirky. There's a style about her. She's trying to say something about herself, about where she's from, and
her backstory is cool, isn't it?
I like that, and I want more of that, and I want more, and it's just nice to see female characters finally getting into the game. Obviously, we had female mission giver before as well. We've had a couple of them, so it's all good. I'm looking forward to seeing what Tessa looks like. 10-ton Tessa, can't wait to see her.
10-ton Tessa.
We're getting a t-shirt made. Rithis and I have been trying to get a t-shirt made for that for a long time, but we don't know. We can't draw, so that's the downside. We was going to get the pin-ups with the ladies sitting on the aeroplanes.
Yeah.
60s. We wanted that, but with 10-ton Tessa sitting on a freelancer. But I can't.
She had a face for radio.
That's what we were going to do.
I can't wait. Hey man, I got a face for radio. Let's not talk about it. Like it's literally.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I can't wait. Honestly, female model characters are in game. I can't wait for that. I'm hopefully they're not too bugged though. That's my thing, because if they're really,
could you imagine? They do something and then a man's arm just comes out and then it goes back to a female arm after it's done the animation.
Yeah.
Just suddenly they increase in size and then
I can't fly my spaceship. Why am I being propelled to the kitchen inside the spaceship? What's going on? What's happening?
Okay, this haircut.
Gas on.
I'm stuck at the kitchen. All that kind of stuff. Like I'm stuck at the wardrobe. I got nothing to wear. That's literally
hair.
what I've been saying.
Let's talk about hair.
Yeah.
So this amazing
The hair is
hair on
great.
this model.
It's
very good.
it's amazingly
It's not gonna be in game,
difficult,
though.
and I'm missing hair. But this may not be final, of course, because those threads she has here.
They're missing some.
There's no fluffy little hairs in between. Like
Yeah, they're not really
real
showing it
life.
off in great light here, are they?
Yeah,
Well, they
it's
put the
just
hood over her head, right?
But
She's
it's,
not
I mean,
gonna see it.
Sometime, I think they've said, didn't they, that they would like to be able to. Someone asked Josh Herman a while ago if we'll be able to have hoods that we can put off on the fly, and I think he says they want to try and do that, but I don't think he's got anything quite yet. So I guess she'll be able to just go. Like sometimes you might see her; she'll have a hood up. Sometimes she'll have.
so yeah, I mean, they said
or braided it.
on this RTV just gone that they haven't finished with the hair. Therefore, when 3.5 comes out, the chances are she'll just have a hood up. So that's
right.
I don't know whether.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they can take the hood on and off. I mean, if the whole subsumption thing works and they get that working, you will probably see them changing their outfit and hopefully looking different. Having the hood up, wearing something completely different, that's going to really help it. Like if you see her in the bar, but she's wearing something different, that's going to be really cool because you don't see that in any other game when NPCs always look the same. You know who they are, you recognize them straight away.
Yeah,
you imagine going in there
there
and then all of a sudden they're wearing a different outfit and they're kind of lurking in a different corner or something like that. That's going to
They
be
have a real day
pretty
cycle
cool.
that they move in.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we were discussing this on the stream today about how instead of just having maybe just a time between when you'll find the mission giver or not, being able to like find Clovis in the bar or just going and if you approach him and talk to him, he'll just be like, "I'm sorry, you can't talk to me now," or whatever, and like you shall not pass.
Oh, that's the whole plan, is it?
I taught him everything he knows. But yeah, that is the plan. Yeah, this whole 24-hour life cycle, or not life cycle, 24. I said that last time. Fucking like 24 hours to dead.
A one-day flight.
Where's my machine gun?
Alter cab and get another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be cool if we can see them wandering around town, going about their own business, and then like maybe not people like Twitch or not Miles, the guy, the drug dealer in Levski. Really weedy.
Yeah, the one down below.
Yeah.
The Australian.
No. Fuck you.
What's his name? Someone tell us his name. But those people,
Clarence.
Oh, yeah.
You're close. You're close.
Ski drug dealer.
They go around. You're not going to see them going and doing the shopping as such because the drug dealers, they'll probably be around the seedy areas and going about their day to day.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember what it is.
Bloody hell.
But yeah, I mean that's supposed to be. I think most of the NPCs aren't they supposed to have.
Wallace Klim.
I just googled for Levski drug dealer. What does it show in Google? Our Prime Minister.
Oh god.
Fantastic. And Louis van Gaal. Okay.
Yes, Wallace Klim.
That's it.
Nice.
Wallace.
Nice. Right. Okay. Cool.
But she looks good. Looking good.
But yeah,
No,
it's
she
good
does,
outfits.
And I agree that
in game. We're looking
if
forward
the
to
hair
it.
tech isn't ready and in time for something like a mission giver, then it doesn't matter. Put them out. We'll work around it. And I do wonder if this hair tech that they're talking about is also the hair tech we'll have with the DNA customizer, or if it's because if it's not ready, then maybe they'll just keep that hair tech out of the customizer and stick with the old hair tech or the latest of whatever they have now.
If we get it.
Yeah.
If we get anything like that.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to call him a negative Nelly, and then I realised.
Oh, by the way, everybody.
Have you not understood this?
High quality. Everyone enjoying the high quality resolution of ourselves. Is everyone surprised at how good? No one said shit, but look how fucking clear we all are.
You bastards! Why did you not recognise it?
You not noticed?
Yeah.
Look at this. This is
Fucking chat.
how
Come on.
much
This is
clearer
what I
we
look
are.
like.
I haven't noticed.
They've all blurred their screens. They're like, this is not right. This is really. We're all listening on the radio.
Nostril hairs.
I mean,
Area
so
18.
the other really exciting thing from ATV was the caves.
Oh, the caves. Yes.
Oh, the caves.
This is what everybody came here for.
Yeah.
This is what's in the title of the stream. This is what people came for. The cave system.
Spelunking.
We have never seen a cave before.
I've seen a cave before. Speak for yourself.
No, you haven't. This is a cave. You think you've seen a cave before. You haven't seen a cave until you've seen a StarCitizen cave.
The cave to beat all caves.
You tell me what you guys think. I'm not going to be super salty as much as I can be, but you can already get a sense.
I think it's incredible. I don't see a problem with this. I want to know what your problem is.
No, I don't have a problem with it. I don't actually have a problem with it. I know I have a little bit of a problem with it, actually.
It's like it's a bit of a as Bok said, I think before, it's a bit of a random drop. It was just like out of nowhere. We've got nothing to tell you, so here's caves. But then we were saying earlier that we
complained that we want
into stuff. So I am not going to complain about this. It's information. It's early days of a cave system, and we're getting some information on it. This is what we asked for.
They're using original tech. When all these like when they say the reason why it's taking so long to get to these sort of points is because they had to build all the tools to make it so that they can do things quicker. And so now they've got this procedural layout tool which they use for space stations. Oh, they can also apply it to making caves underground. When before someone asked, "Can we have caves?" and they said, "We don't know. We hope to, but we don't know yet." So the fact that they've now got them, and the fact that they're using an old system that is an old tool, an already there tool, and they're just changing the assets, it's incredible because the variation that they can come up with and the scale that these can be at, it opens up a load more potential. It's like when they said, "Oh, we're going to look into procedural planets," and then all of a sudden they have these. That was quite a changing thing. I know this isn't quite that scale, but it's cool.
Bok must have loved it. He's clipped it 10 times.
Oh, I was going mental. I need to find a way, by the way, to stitch those clips together, so you don't have to
let me know because I don't know myself.
Yeah.
On the internet, I think YouTube can do it.
You don't always necessarily want them stitched together, but anyways, let's go back.
But in this case.
So, yeah. Okay, so obviously there's not much to look at in terms of what's they're showing off at the moment. No. It's a very early iteration of it, and it's not necessarily anything majorly different to what we've seen in other games, obviously, because it's far too early in that. But on the positive side, it is, as Max says, it is a cave which they said, first of all, they didn't think they were going to be able to do. They've managed to use the procedural tools that they use for truck stops, which means we should get procedural caves, which I think that's a big thing. That's being able to use a tech that they've used somewhere else and just be able to prove and say to you, look, we've managed to, this tech is not that we've created for these truck stops, is not just, it's useful. It's a tool that can be used elsewhere. And I think, and the more you think about it, it's like, okay, so this is obviously going to be like speculating rather than commenting on what's just being shown in the video because it's just a cave. But the gameplay elements of the cave, I mean, it should make people for exploring ways a lot more fun. It should be, I can imagine them being able to put a lot more hidden technology in there and things like that, which wouldn't be easy to find. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, huge potential, isn't there?
Especially the what they've shown off, which you don't see much, is the climbing aspect and the crouching aspect to get in small cavities and such.
Okay, so caves are fun when you can build inside them.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
They're fun anyway.
They're fun-ish. After a while, they get pretty boring. But trust me, when you can build your freaking bat caves and you build things inside them and kind of do things inside them like that, they get like that's when they get really, really cool.
I mean, that would be cool if we could find a way. For me,
I've always that's what I've always found when caves get like really, really fun is when you can kind of like hide things and build things,
underground bases and stuff.
Until somebody nicks his Starfarer into the entrance and another one puts his Starfarer in the exit.
Well, see, what I saw with this was, it's like rather than seeing this in terms of just for planets, I saw this for asteroids. So like we can create our own grim hexes, and we can create our own bases where we can put our
the asteroid hangars. That was something that was before we had all these planets and stuff. That was supposed to be one of the things, wasn't it? So if they could use this and make a hangar in an asteroid, that would be amazing.
Exactly. That's pretty much like where my head was at in terms of like cool, like kind of like where I was kind of like, oh, cool, awesome, great technology.
Until you see an Orion outside when you wake up and you're like, oh, you can't mind this one. This is my home.
But My curious thing for me was I want to see this develop more in terms of like where you scan, how you find them, what's going on, like what's inside them. You know, they showed us a bit of obviously, you know, you can drop a gun in there and you can crawl. Again, there's so much more animation mechanics that need to come in terms of climbing and rock climbing and, you know, traversing. You know, especially, you know, we're going to be able to do like physical rock climbing in terms of ropes, or are we going to get like, which I would say would be much easier, is the jetpack idea and kind of some sort of way of, you know, flying around without having to do ropes. And I think about the animations required for rope versus the animation for just having freaking some jetpacks on your feet or whatever to be able to fly around, or a jetpack on your back. Just in my head, it just seems like it would be a lot better to do that, a lot easier for them.
Well, yeah, something that someone said on a stream recently when we were talking about caves is that these sinkholes, unless you like, if you get trapped inside them, there needs to be a good on-foot method for going in and out of them. Because it's like if you see one and you have a constellation, it's probably going to be too big to get into it. But if it's a sinkhole style cave, you basically can't get in there. So having a way of descending down on foot, if you have the right equipment, obviously, would be a really cool way of venturing further into them. But I do just see a huge potential. And like you say, a lot of it is speculation. Like, we don't know, will we ever be able to build in them? Will we ever be able to mine in them? I think they've mentioned about mining and stuff like that. And I'd love the idea of, instead, because at the moment we only know about the Pioneer, don't we?
Yeah, I think going into caves,
they should have shown us something like building stuff.
Where are we at with all our building stuff? Like they showed us
that's way
all the habitats. Remember, they showed us the habitats with the ramps, and they were talking about how we had to make a really long ramp. And
that was just purely for the outposts on moons. That was when they were developing the outposts on moons.
Did they just stop working on it, or what the fuck's going on? Like,
well,
how long
in order for us to be able to build an outpost, we need the Pioneer, which means we need that ship first to be developed. Then we need the gameplay mechanic of how the resources are needed to be put into that ship, to then how do they create that, to how do we place it, which we first need land
miles
claims.
Off us having.
That's
not
nowhere near ready.
The thing is, we're not going to get Osiris, so we're not going to sit there and just be able to go boom and put habitats down from our backpack. So that's why we're not getting it, because it's just miles.
Although, they literally parked it. Then basically, what you're saying is,
it's one of those game mechanics
instead. Okay.
Well, I would rather that, because at the moment
it's
way off, you know, that sort of thing. But I like the idea of if you know, because obviously the Pioneer is what creates outposts. It would be cool if we could have a vehicle that could transport, or like the SRV that could carry small habitation pods that you can lower into a cave and then put into place, and make that as like maybe on the back of an Ursa rover flatbed, if that's a thing. Drive like a box, you know, like in Avatar when they have those habitation things. I can't think of where it was. It was on top of the mountainside, but they had these habitation pods, and it would be very cool if they could get them into a cave, and you could have that as a little base in a cave, or some form of building in a cave.
Mm-hmm. I think,
but I don't think it's not going to be the Pioneer.
I think it's going to be the next progression. I think we will eventually be able to build in the cave. But just how? I don't know how, because like you said, I like to twist the mechanic a bit, and I think it would be nicer if we could build a house without having to have a ship build it and put it down for us. And if we couldn't do it with, like I say, a backpack thing, maybe what we could do is we'd see it like, oh god, I'm going to mention it and everyone's going to kill me, but like Fortnite, okay, bear with me, so that you have the blueprints, so you look and you put the blueprints down and then press OK, and then it puts like a frame, and then you could have robots or whatever it is that comes and builds it, so you're not physically having the mechanics, you put it supplies there and something builds it, but you put the blueprints down. That would be a way for you to be able to do it on foot without having to necessarily need the ship for everything. The ship will do it quicker. The advantage of the ship is it could do it anywhere, it could do it quicker, and it could plonk it down. But yeah, drone builders, exactly, something like that. I think that would be cool, to being able to get us to do it on our feet and get around the whole having it in your backpack. If we could just blueprint it, tell it what we want, and then get something else to build it. And I hope that's something we.
I think blueprints is how it's likely to work with, say, the Pioneer. Like, if you want a different style other than just an outpost style, you would have to buy a blueprint or something.
Well, the part it's a really big ship, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe there's an opportunity for CIG to make some more money, which maybe they probably thought about, is maybe having a little bit of a smaller ship.
I reckon there will be. I reckon there'll be ground vehicles that do it as well.
It drops a pod.
Yeah.
Which is the drones, and that basically is your initial hub point, and that bit then has your building, your basic housing, or maybe the ship becomes a house or something, a basic station. Then you can build off of the ship. So once you've parked the ship, that then becomes a permanent structure effectively, and then you can build off of that type of thing. And that rather than, so you're buying a ship to basically become your, like, I'm trying to think of like your HQ, I suppose you'd call it, and then
like a base, a fob, or a yes, I don't know what you can
build off and around that and expand off of that, and that's your initial kind of like HQ kind of starting point.
I mean, I honestly think things like that will eventually come down the line, where we'll be able to build homes, farms, bases. I know Chris has said he wants us to be able to do that, but it's like, at the moment, we're just seeing the Pioneer. That's just one method for building just outposts. I think as things progress, we will see different smaller vehicles, maybe like ground vehicles that can bring in foundations, and you could maybe even just hire. It would be cool to do it yourself, like in like Skyrim, but hiring NPCs to build you a place, and then over time you can see it change and build up.
I mean, let's face it. The Pioneer's a bit like the Reclaimer. It's theory. They're theory crafting themselves. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have the ship? They
don't know how it's going to build in a magic box that we don't see anything going on, and then it shits out a house. Pretty much. There's no actual proof to it. But then again, like 900 years in the future, do people still build houses, or do they just buy flat pack that just go?
Press a button.
Be 3D printed, wouldn't it? In theory,
3D printed houses, yeah.
Yeah, they exist.
In theory, that's already here, but then it's retro future, right? So it's going to be built by Ripley with one of those Titan suits.
The same way as Jared seems to think that we should still have blockers on our visors because some diving helmet once had it in the past. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make it okay now. That doesn't make sense at all. That they go.
We evolved.
It goes, well, we used to have bad vision. It's not that it never existed. Yeah, it didn't never exist, but we move forwards.
I mean, it makes more sense that the Banu might not have that sort of peripheral vision, so they don't need to see out there.
That was a limitation
that made
of the
more
day,
sense.
18th century, whatever.
Yeah, I know. When you said that, I was like, oh, that is so the bad. What he said afterwards would make more sense, but that was such a shit example. It's like, we used to never have cars, but guess what? We have them now.
Guess what happened? The Banu came to a planet at that period of time and saw the leather space helmet thing, and they were like, "That is a great idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. We need that for our. We're super advanced. We can fly all the way to there, but we need that for our helmet.
Fishbowl, just a fishbowl helmet on the Banu.
I can't see it. I can't see anything. It's okay. Don't worry. The human over there, he had it on his thing.
Why do you want to see anything?
It's
retro. It's retro.
Oh yeah, we certainly will build a StarCitizen IKEA. That's marvelous.
He was answering the question wisely. He was actually right in his response initially to say, like, guys like, oh, but then I agree. It's like, but we're in the future, Disco. So you wouldn't normally have something. That's like I said, like it's the same with the glaive. Like, why would you engineer the glaive to have no fuel scoop, but have all of the other human fighter ships have fuel scoops and not put it in your
It was his defense. It was his defense for struts, but it doesn't really work. Really, it's because if someone designs a way to not have struts, then you would pick to not have struts. I'm not going to say,
they've not got struts.
There's technology to not have struts, but let's put struts in anyway. So, but anyway, that's slightly digressing. But
depends though. If it's my old man, he'd be like, "How cheap is him?" He'd be like, "That'll be the first."
but that's a better answer though. But that's fine. That's a good answer. If it's cheaper to make, then do it. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's a good answer. But don't just say it's because some need it, or it's a manufactured design, or it used to be that way. That's not an answer. The answer is it's cheaper. Fine. That's fine. That's a good answer.
Something. It's the 18th century Banu helmet. Could be
something Josh mentioned was the fact that at the back of the helmet there was this clumpy bit for little bits. I can't remember what he said exactly, but for like bits and attachments and stuff. So like
electronics.
They've mentioned the ability to maybe upgrade your visor or your helmet and get like a combat hood on, or swap it out for something else, or a better radar and stuff. I really like the idea of getting your own helmet. I can't remember what the point you just said that was actually sparked my memory. But the idea of being able to upgrade your helmet, cheapness. So
go on.
If I would like to be able to have,
I'm glad I bring that to your mind. It's
somewhere, something you said. The cheapness of
looks at
madness, cheapness. But this idea of it costs very little, so it is not as good material. You don't get a good hood. You know, it's not as strong or whatever. Or you could upgrade it to a better helmet, and then you can have the ability to upgrade the visor, maybe better protection, that sort of stuff. So yeah, cheapness for things, but then obviously people aren't going to buy it, so it's a waste of time developing it, I guess. Unless it's like the difference in price is so...
The default could be the default one you get. Like
yeah,
that's
everyone gets them.
The default
That's a good
one.
idea. Yeah.
And then you can upgrade it from that. You know, that's your starting the cheap start one. You know, that's what everyone gets. You know, like
The
your
plastic
basic flat.
bag.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but that plastic bag has no struts.
Nope.
So even the cheapest ones.
It's got saliva though all over.
Yeah.
And kind of,
How do I wipe it off? I'm just rubbing it on my own face.
Just lick it. Oh, you
You're trying to wipe it off and it
inside the
gets
helmet.
across your face.
Press the vent button.
And that's the other
Sounds
thing.
like
Like, there's one about getting the helmets on and off. Well, you just like press the little button, flip the flap up the top. That's what they got on a motorbike helmet. So why can't you do it on them? Doesn't matter that they're not
Hey,
airtight.
NASA spacesuit. NASA spacesuit has two ones that go up. You got the first one that comes down, then you have your one on the top. Because I watched that on Adam Savage.
I know. I
Yeah,
saw him
me
make
too.
it. Yeah, me too. Me three. Hashtag me too.
Hashtag friends forever. Oh, what's
Yeah.
the same? Nerds together.
Anyway, so yeah, caves. No, I do think I think the exploration side for the caves as well actually is good because obviously with being able to fly over the planets, you get to see loads of the landmarks and landscapes. So exploring is not as difficult. Whereas actually, if you're walking along through a forest and you find a cave to delve down, and then it's got ancient ruins in it or some alien technology in it that you can learn about, that's going to be pretty damn cool.
Find a javelin.
It's like, what?
All it needs is just spit and polish. And it works.
Just literally teases you as it sits there and you can't get it out. There's so much. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say what would be cool. Like, is I don't know if we've seen any concept art for the kind of the use of the caves. Like, I don't know if they've done that, but that would be dope. Now they've got the technology. You could go and send it to an artist and say concept up what caves could be in StarCitizen, and they go away and just go crazy for a couple of weeks.
Fan art.
Come back.
Fans need to do that.
Yeah.
Get some fan art going.
Yeah.
Because in my eyes, like when we talk, like
some fart.
If you've got things like creatures and animals and things in there, like let's say for example, you have to go and get something, or you just find this, or you've got to take this cave, or you've got to take shelter from like a bad storm. You go into this cave and you think, oh, let's have a look. And there's like 4 of you all using your torchlight, maybe using flares to light the way, and you go so deep into it. And then you hear that, and you're like, what was that? Was that you, Bill? And then
when you see the thing scuttle across your torch. You know, you see the thing scuttle. If you're looking through like torchlight and like a creature just scuttles really fast, it's like, did you see that? Did you see that? No.
And then you've got things like
dead.
Don't walk near miserable.
if you're near Mac, that's exactly what happens.
and you.
I won't be able to help because I'll just fucking potato aim it. But then you've also got like science gameplay. Like if you've got to go and find a particular mushroom that only grows in this environment and you've got to go down and take a sample, then take that back to your ship and experiment on it. Mushrooms? You have pirates and criminals hiding out in there. And when persistence comes in, if you find a cave, you can use that to store loads of stuff and then put like a couple of guards on the inside just in case someone notices it. There's so much potential to it, and that's before we even get into the whole idea of even being able to build in a cave. If you bought some land and it came with a cave on it, fucking quids in.
Yeah, I want that plot with the cave. Thank you.
Yeah, well, if you find a cave, you might be like, right, I'm going to stamp this as my land.
I hope they will put enough of the caves on the surface because it's a large surface and it will keep it interesting to explore. Yeah,
I think a balance. Like, I think if they were everywhere, caves would become less special. If there was
the problem though,
that's
really big.
If your cave is towards the end of your 5K land, there could be a potential chance that's how people can get into your.
That's true. That's true. Or it could be a good escape route for you and your group. It's like it could actually lead out of
ambush
your
if someone's
land.
attacking your outpost.
We need terraforming.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Then you'd be getting a game called No Man's Sky.
Yes. Add another 10 years.
It already exists. The ability to make your cave really smooth and clean.
Yeah.
I just want 90-degree angles everywhere, nothing else.
That's where your Nox
Citizen.
racing could be, underground, where everything's smooth.
Oh, could you imagine underground racing?
With neon
Underground
lights
cave.
and shit that's flying past you on the walls, and
You can have like guns firing, and you'd be like trying to shoot.
Stalagmites getting in the way.
Unfortunately, CIG won't. The only place that's going to happen is on ArtCorp, because that's where you saw the big long tunnels potentially. I think it was. You saw the tunnels,
Why would that be the only
long
place?
streets.
What, one out of like 300 planets? That's the only place we're ever going to see that. sort of thing.
No. Okay. Yes, you got me on the technicality. Yes, you're absolutely right. That's not. But at the moment, ArtCorp, that's where I can only see those kind of long straight kind of towns where you can do it. Like everything on planet is
drag racing.
Yeah,
no, that's true. I do hope that we start getting some fucking planets and rock or moons.
Rocks.
we have enough rocks.
Rocks. Yeah, don't know more rocks. Yeah, just not stuff that stick out everywhere.
Yeah.
Trees.
Although,
trees, don't worry, you'll be fine.
the new flight model is supposed to for the hover bikes. It's supposed to hover over them to a point, isn't it? Which I think it shouldn't. I think you should.
You can adjust it.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's what I understood from it. You can adjust the height. So
Don't
Very
worry,
true.
Mac. You'll still see me crashing into trees.
Yep.
That's not gonna, that's not
And
gonna
then
happen.
air. You'll be crashing into air. Don't have to be a physical object there. You'll just explode.
My biggest concern with the flight model at the moment is I'm waiting to see when I get hold of it is to do with the fuel consumption. That's kind of a big thing for me.
That's your biggest concern?
Yeah, seriously, I haven't got any other bigger concerns than that. That's seriously like the actual flight mechanics. So what I've seen, I'm very, very happy with. I think it looks really good, and what I've heard, I'm very positive about. My main concern at the moment is fuel mechanics, how much fuel burns when you're going into atmosphere and out of atmosphere, relation to all the ships and all the kind of the balancing for that. That's kind of a big thing for me because we still do not have refueling in the game, and it bugs me more than anything else because it's like one of the oldest and one of the oldest extra game mechanics since the Starfarer came in, and they still haven't got refueling in the game from ships, and it bugs me.
Yeah, we can refuel, but it's not like if you get stuck, you're not going to be able to go and refuel anywhere, are you? You're kind of like, right, well, I'm going to have to claim that ship. That's annoying.
It really stops a lot of, especially for combat pilots and just for just generally, it does stop a percentage of exploration and travel and things because we can't refuel. It's very irritating.
There's a mixture in there of like long-term things, like I can't even be bothered to try and figure out what I'm trying to say there. It was far too complicated. It would take me ages.
But how would you like to see that? Would you want to call in a friend with a Starfarer?
I'm all for a smaller ship. I really, I've said this, but I would like. I feel that there's far too many, like a vulture size refueler. That kind of has a couple of extra pods on the back of it or whatever. If you think of like the early World War II, like the Hurricanes and stuff, they had like fuel pods and stuff that you could go extra distances. Like I'd love them to have that type of thing. Maybe like some land vehicles that can refuel as well, potentially. I really feel like this is some game mechanic that should have been well thought out and should be on the cards for 2-3 years. And we should be really, of all the game mechanics that should be well and truly fleshed out next to mining, is refueling. And that should be, in my opinion, I don't understand why that is still not here with us. It makes no sense.
How do you think a ship's going to refuel another ship?
You're thinking about the docking, aren't you? You're saying the docking.
Well, we haven't. They haven't even got the Merlin. So this was funny because I mentioned it the other day, but someone commented on one of my earlier YouTube vids, which are like probably about 4 years old, saying 2019 Merlin still doesn't undock, and so they can't even get the Merlin to come out of it. So how are you visioning people refueling ships?
This is my whole thing about the whole it has to be perfect and they have to get shit working, but yet they're quite happy to get loads of ships into game that have no game mechanics that work. Why can't you just have the ship go next to another ship and magically fucking refuel it for the time being until you figure it out? Why?
That would actually be a good idea.
Why is that so bad?
Like same with the Reclaimer, go next to another, the derelict or whatever it is, and press a button and it just fills your hold, just for the sake of a semi bit of gameplay, that would be quite fine.
Like, tier fucking -0 if you really want to call it that. But
it's backwards.
Why can't that just be in for the time being so people can
down for that. I think it's a good idea.
That gameplay.
People can actually play that role in that case.
Yeah.
They can actually play that role. Like repair, you can go up to a ship and sort of hit a button and it just magic. And I mean, there's no, obviously that's not anything like what it's going to be in the final game.
Yeah, we know that.
It works for the sake of having the ship there, and it allows people to play the game more without having this fucker ran out of fuel. Okay, die. Let's respawn.
And they might get because they're getting to that earlier. There might be problems that come from that mechanic well early for them to be able to go, oh shit, we didn't think about that. So that when they then do and get, as they're working on the better performances and the way docking works and everything else, they have that knowledge already advanced rather than waiting for this fucking perfect animation that has to go in and plug into this other thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, and then they go, oh fuck, if only we had just let them do it magically for a few, we could have figured out this next set of problems that we didn't think about because that affects this gameplay type. Or do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm just. But there's nothing wrong with magic.
This is what we touched on earlier, isn't it? Really, it's like the fear of them showing us stuff or giving us stuff that doesn't represent what they want in the game. They have a fear of it. They seem to want to know it's got to be the way or not at all. But then it doesn't add up because then they give us a patch that's buggy as fuck anyway. It's like they get to a point where they just got to give it to you.
There's no
like the female models,
there.
right?
Exactly.
They've waited all this time to give us female models, waited, and yet still on RTV they've turned around and said, oh, but when you get it, it's going to be buggy. Some of the animations aren't going to be there. Most of the clothes aren't going to be there. So basically what you're telling us, you could have given this to us like months ago and still said that it's got work to do. Like it's like they give up trying to get to that perfection point and then give it to us because they promised it and think, well, we need to get it out the door. And it's like they need to do that on more stuff. It needs to be just get it out there. Like you said, they give us ships without any mechanics, so why not give us mechanics without the real mechanics there?
You're about to get a ton of reliant variants that have no game mechanic working. Just literally,
and they're not even. Well, I saw someone on the Mac stream today say, "Oh, I really like the look of the science one. The science." It's like, by the way, they're 100% placeholders. They said that we haven't designed. We don't know the mechanic at all, so we've just put sciencey looking things inside it. So it's
a microwave.
It might as well just be the fucking core. It might as well be the Reliant core. They've designed that, and it's no different. Yeah. Like they literally,
it's like I'm happy for them to put the ships in when they're ready. I'm happy with that because. You know, it gets them in. It finds the bugs for those specific ships. It gets them to tune the balancing and whatnot of their flight and handling and stuff. But I do agree that we should have at least like a placeholder mechanic for the sake of using it.
But they are testing it in space now. What about surface atmosphere flights?
Yeah,
it's not being tested right now, is it?
Yeah. No, that's the next thing. It's like that's going to be a huge change to the how people like perceive the flight model. You'll be so used to flying there. Like when's? I honestly
different system. So that's not tested by the Evos at the moment.
That whole kind of like Evo testing and whatever they do. I'm just going to leave them to what they do that area because that's I have no idea. But like when you're I've been playing for 3 years. The Starfarer was in before I even started playing the game, and you still haven't decided that you can just have a magical refueling that you would do. Like at the end of the day, when I land, I do not get somebody running out with a petrol thing, ramming it into my Saber and refueling my fucking ship. Do I? Do you? It's magic.
I do.
The bar goes.
Yeah, it's already a placeholder. Yeah,
put that on the fucking ships.
Very true.
I don't understand. Like seriously, I feel like Zoolander crazy pills. Like at how hard would it be to put that in?
Get a Spectrum post-up.
And just think how, like you said, how much more gameplay that would give people. To be able to do it.
That's it. It would give people like orgs who just want to play the game. They don't want to do anything like they don't want to do the missions and stuff. They want to run in a Starfarer and just pretend to practice the whole refueling thing. So you find someone, you hail them, you pull up next to them, you press the button, theirs goes down, yours goes up.
I magically repair as well.
But
like,
we have-
why
we
can't
have even less
all
now.
repair?
They had
It's
drones
all there.
at first.
It's kind of there.
They got they got rid of them, haven't they? They don't do the
Yeah,
drones.
drones
anymore.
are
They
no
got-
more. Yeah.
That's what I mean. They had magic drones, and they kept saying, "Well, this is not going to be the final thing." Now you don't. Fuck that. You just repair. It's like really.
Get a post on Spectrum. We'll get that upvoted, and we will.
Was at least
we will push
something.
that as an idea because it is logically
More
there
magic.
already
We need
anyway.
more
so.
magic in StarCitizen. That's what we need.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one there must be a spectrum somewhere someone said that because there's no way that could be the first time that somebody's gone. We got magic on
Actually,
this already. Wait,
it's the first time I've ever thought, "Oh, that's a good idea."
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Oh my
seriously. I was like,
No
"Oh
way.
no, let's wait for a really good, really in-depth mechanic." And I'm down for that.
Oh
In
man,
depth.
seriously. Yeah, we have to have perfect animations, and the claw has to work. It doesn't work. It doesn't. It doesn't. It will be fine. Just go up next to it and kind of point it in the vicinity, and then the ship kind of slowly crunches up and then disappears. It will be fine, honestly.
Like a straw, just sucks it in.
Yeah,
Like a brain bug.
It doesn't even arm doesn't even have to work, bro. It just kind of go out. Just do like you showed us. It goes out and pretends. to
Well,
grab it.
the
It
mining
gives-
laser kind of goes up and looks like someone's having a happy day when it comes up. Why not just do the same with the reclaimer?
I'm having problems.
Fuck me,
I'm
it's
so
a wreck.
excited by this rock.
Laranite, you can fuck off.
I've got limp for Laranite.
Oh my
dear
god,
God.
seriously. But that's this is what I mean. This is this whole why is suddenly one thing have to be perfect and another thing doesn't? This is that again. It comes back to that whole. I just kind of get confused with CIG sometimes. Just this hypocrisy
isn't it?
and consistency and just this is what I mean. Like I said, I don't know if the head knows what the body's doing sometimes, and the arms and the legs, and it does seem a little bit of, like I said, it feels to me from an outsider's perspective, it could be beautiful, it could be well organized.
Yeah.
Don't believe it is, but it could be really well organized, and they know exactly what they're doing, and fine. But I just, again, 3 years, seriously, come on. I was shown. Does anyone remember 2.6.3? I have to say it every time. We had a roadmap. Literally, we would be on jump point gates by now. Okay,
Oh, yes.
from what they were showing. We would have 4.0, we would be in jump gates.
I really
Onto other
hope
systems.
3.5's flight mechanic is so fucking superb that Madness never has to say 2.6.3 ever again.
I know. No, I won't. I was just saying, this is just like 2.6.3. It's amazing. This is like
It
the
was
best
a
thing.
nice patch. Yeah, I do agree.
That's
No,
probably
but,
what you'll say.
We should, they showed us it all out. Now I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We know all the things that had to happen in the performances and stuff. But it's just, like I said, come on, just tier -1 on everything, please. This year, come on, give us something.
Yeah,
We need
Ash
the
says,
game
I remember
mechanic.
being shown the Caterpillar modules. That's another one. They showed you all these modules. They even showed them almost fleshed out. I said, look, this is a unit. We've cut them up so they're all the same size. They showed all that one with the beds in and everything else, and then they just poof, no more. And I'll tell you why, though. It's probably because they haven't got the mechanic for you to change that on your ship and put it on your ship. And this is what we're saying. They're not giving it because they haven't got the mechanic. They've done the work for it. Do it magically. Let's give us some magic in StarCitizen until they've
Just
fixed
a bit of
things.
game magic.
Give
You
us some
already got it.
magic.
Maybe they're like, we want to limit the amount of magic in the game so that it's like.
Not magic.
We need unicorns.
We want to remove the magic of StarCitizen. Don't do it.
Anyway,
No, because I think that's it. I think they're going away from it. Like they said, it's the fear, and they said the same thing. Is because it's the same way they charge for the insurance when you crash the car. Crash the car? No, when you crash your ship or recall your ship, because they've said, we don't want to put the prices in the wrong thing in case you all start thinking that that's the right thing, and it's like. It's fucking alpha. Just put a big warning saying
Doesn't matter.
current prices aren't final. And so what if everyone has a fucking hissy fit when it releases and says, fuck me, it never cost me this in alpha? And you go, yeah, okay, get over it. Like, what are you going to do? People aren't going to stop playing the game because the fucking insurance cost is too high or too low. Like, just
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I'm looking at the 3.5. Let's look at 3.5 in terms of gameplay
Give me that
mechanics,
one.
things that we're going to get to. We're going to get a mission giver, so we'll get some missions. Hopefully the missions work.
They'd just be running drugs again, though, like Wallace Clim.
Yeah. We have the DNA face customizer. That's a gameplay that will last about
An hour,
30
maybe?
seconds. Depends on what you're
hour.
doing.
It takes me at
female
least an
character
hour to create a
depends.
character.
It'll look cool though. It'll look cool being able
Yeah.
to see other people's faces. With the fucking
No
glue.
freaking doubt. I can't wait to have a look at that.
That's what you gotta make.
I'm really excited.
That's what it's like in
So that's
Ark.
cool.
Innit?
So
Glenny.
cool.
It's
That's a
froze.
gameplay.
Did it freeze?
That's a gameplay.
Nice.
Then we have Art Corp. That's not gameplay. That's just walking around the place. That's just an environment. It's nice, but it's just an environment. We have FPS. No. Basic gunship behavior. No. Ship AI.
Well, the AI does kind of. If we've got the flight model
Combat.
and we have more challenging AI, both planet side and in ships, that does add more robustness to the gameplay.
Yeah.
And especially if
We
you're a
already
pilot.
have it, so I don't
Yeah,
count
but,
it as
but it's
new.
shit though, isn't it? It's like it didn't work.
But it doesn't work, but like that's still not good enough in my books to be
point.
counted. That's like a half freaking gameplay, you know, like barely even.
I suppose what Mindless is trying to say is we don't want just repairs and updates. We actually want to see new things. Like you kind of want to see progression. So you want to see. New things
I'm
being
kind of a
added.
bit of like, well, actually, instead of getting loads of version 1s of stuff that is buggy and not working, I'm happy for them to go back and just make sure that what we do have is robust, works well, and plays well.
The downside to that is they make it so that it works well and they fix it all, and then they introduce the next thing and then it breaks it all. And a point for this is like they were talking about the female character. So on RTV, like I can't remember the excuse they gave, but they said they were working on the male character only because I can't remember if it was easier or because it was just they wanted to get all that nailed down before they worked on the female character. So they did that, and then they moved on to the female character, and now they've done that. And I put this as like I'm not a game dev, okay? So don't get me wrong. I'm not telling them what's right or wrong, but like they said that now that they've done the female characters, they've got to go back and they've got to redo all the animations. They've got to redesign the shops because the shops are the wrong size. They've got to redesign the ship cockpits because they had to make it so that you could have a slightly smaller character. So they've had to go back and redesign everything. So would it have been quicker to have done the male and female models together and then it would have been a first pass on everything else? Oh. Is that how, I'm not a game developer. Some people
Funny enough, though, I said that in my stream today. Should they, I said it would be better if they just did the male and the female at the same time, and someone had a problem with that. Someone said, well, they didn't need it. They needed a character to get into the game, and it would have, that was all they needed.
You do need it if everything's being built off of it.
Yeah. But everyone will always have a difference of opinion, and it's a case of just, what is better suited.
No, what I'm saying is what...
They're not reworking shops. They're adding the female items to the shops.
No, I think they had to rework some of it as well because, obviously because of the heights and stuff.
But it's not going to be like a full, let's start from scratch.
It's not a full rework, but then if you had it into account in the first place, you wouldn't have had to go back and redo it. Same as the cockpits. They said the chairs. There was an issue with the chairs. They're not major reworks of it all, but it's still reworking shit that did. Like I said, I'm not a developer. That might be the way to do it. This might be the standard way of doing it and what everybody does. It's fine. It's just a question. It's just me asking it, getting people's opinions. What do people think? It's
but also for animations,
it's
not like a rework of an animation. It's like eventually the females will need to have, or they needed to have, different animations to males. So it's either they make it first and foremost, or they take the male ones and change them into a female one, or re-record them. It's still the same work that would still take the same amount of time. It's just when have they chosen to actually create it.
But you're on about the actual characters, and I get that. I think you're right with that. It's easier to do one and then transfer across. But then if they're doing like the other stuff that it's affected is different. Like if they had already taken into account the difference of the female character, they wouldn't have to have redone all that.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have had to have gone back and looked at it all.
Figure. They'd create if you create like a very boxy, it doesn't have to be fully rendered and finished. You just have the heights and the general kind of idea of the female figure kind of mapped out. Same with the fact that they have to do, the Vandal are 8 foot tall or whatever it is. The Banu could be, another certain type of shape and height. We don't know what the Xian are in terms of physical width. They could be very wide and stocky. We have other alien races as well. The fact of the matter is that if they already have them planned out, they really should freaking block them out into very, very basic. I think I've already seen a sneak picture of a Vandal one around a human frame. So I think they kind of do that. But, they need to, there is
no... You can't go back and redo...
to go so far down.
Redo truck stops because Vandal don't fit through the doorway,
Bong!
everyone's hitting them. But that's kind of what it
Well,
feels like.
they showed it off like a month ago. The female character on a Nox bike, they had to rearrange some stuff, clothing and stuff. The
IK, isn't it?
Also the bone structure, what do you call it? The rigging or whatever it's called in graphical techniques. But yeah, there was a whole lot to be changed.
It's okay. I was going to say, it's okay if the alien races can't fit through human structures, because at the end of the day, we don't build our human structures to fit Banu or alien races. Effectively, at the end of the day, we fit humans. So, like, the fact that the Banu can go down onto all fours and kind of crawl along would make sense. But when it comes to, obviously, their spaceships, their personal spaceships that we fly, like Variant is in the models, they've already taken into account with the Vandal. Like, with the Banu, it's the same deal. It's like, you know, we have the Banu Defender. Now, that's a pure Banu ship, but I'm going to be able to fly it as a human. So I'm guessing the Banu, I have to check lore. Okay, so please, I know millions of people are going to throw loads of lore at me, which is fine. You know, why Banu have made it so that they can sell their Defender to humans and we can fly that as well? Is that how, are the Banu the similar size? I mean, I need to know more about
Banu, I think the idea is that we're all roughly around the same size. The Vandal are obviously like 8 foot tall and very scary, but that's why we have Asperia to make their versions of it. But yeah, I think they're all around the same, within the same parameters. Like the Jean may be a bit wider, a bit shorter. Maybe the height of females a little bit less. Maybe the Banu might be a little bit taller than a human, but they all fit within that. And I'm sure when they do create the Banu and you see them piloting a ship, they will have to go through the same thing again with the females, like they did with the females and males. IK them all up so that they can reach the controls and buttons and stuff. Hopefully not rework all the ships though.
So
that way they don't fit.
I'm just gonna carry on going because we've got AI distress beacons. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is the AI bounty hunting looks like that's going to be dropped because that's at 0 of 3. So I think that's a goner. Bounty missions environment. Say goodbye to mission. Ship degradation. Obviously we lost the Banu, which we predicted last week. Jester tried to raise my hopes last week by saying it was not. He was right in the sense, from what I understand. I talked to somebody else, they said it was right to think like that, but my intuition said the Banu was going to be, and I was correct, which is for my intuition, and sucks because I hate the fact that I was right. I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. Same with the flight. Like the flight model, it looks like I'm wrong, which I'm really happy about. I'm really happy about it. Wrong. So fingers crossed when I get a hold of it. The Anvil Hornet, the F7C Heartseeker, magically has made it into. So that's new. The Heartseeker's made it into the.
Yeah, seems like a fair trade. Get the Heartseeker, lose the Defender.
Yeah,
seems equal.
I would like to see some. Does anyone else would like to have seen? Like, I'd like to see. We saw the Banu, obviously. I'd like to see the ship. I'd like to see what it looks like now.
Yeah, that'd be something they could do for like a weekly thing. It's a ship shape of all the stuff, all the progress they're making on certain ships.
Maybe they don't want to show you how little progress they've made on it.
Oh,
maybe,
yeah.
Well, maybe. But I mean, like, but why can't we see the Banu? We've seen they showed us the original model donkeys ago. Why can't we see it now? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's this whole like showing us early stuff and not showing us early stuff. They said they want to spend more time on it because they want to get the character pipeline, the ship pipeline more involved or more with it and the organic style. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, let us see what you've got so far. Let us get it. So I think a lot of it as well, they like to have that hype, don't they, and build it up. But really, I just want to see it. It would be so nice if we could just have a look at what the progress is on it.
I'm guessing maybe. I mean, it's perfectly possible. Like the way they talk about, maybe they showed the design to Chris, and Chris just went, "No way, I hate it." Completely.
Could be, yeah.
Completely do it again. You know, it's perfectly possible that he could have done that, and that might be that they're trying to kind of hide it, say, no. You know, the biscuit thing that I saw, to be fair, was looking a bit ropey. So, yeah, maybe that's what's caused it. I don't know.
It's the thing with the Banu as well as it's like we said before. It's like we're talking about like style guides and that, and I was saying gutted that we're wrong, but it's or right even, but it's like. Their excuse, I don't know why they just didn't just say it's not done yet. We was hoping it'd be done, it's not done yet. And it's because this is the first Banu model we're doing, and it's a style set. It's got to be done right because it's a style.
I think they did say that at the end, didn't they?
No, they said they got to be done right, but they didn't say it's just because we haven't finished. They just said we just want to spend more time. I suppose you could say that, depending on how you look at the way he said it. But it was just almost like, oh, we're kind of like an excuse. But yeah, the reason it's delayed is because it's their key ship. It's not the key ship, but it's the first one that we're going to see of it, so it's got to be right. It's harder to put it in and then turn around and go, actually, no, we don't like shiny interiors, so we're going to have to redesign it all completely again. It's got to be style that this is going to then lead on to the Banu Merchantman and things like that.
It was actually quite interesting what they did say, because they said they want to focus more time on creating the first Banu ship using both the ship and character pipeline and involving this organic style. I don't know what they mean by the ship and character pipeline combination. I'm assuming it's part of they're making the people who are making the Banu. They need to make sure that their personality, their lore, all that is transitioned into the ships as well. And it's like going back to the RTV about the helmet and saying we would think the Banu would go for a more simplistic look. And I'm thinking no, because the Banu like to show their wealth. They have extravagant, tassels and all these different markings and stuff. They're like busy. They're like busy, cool-looking things.
You know what's worrying about that is in the RTV when they mentioned it, it's like, oh yeah, I don't know. They didn't seem to know anything about the Banu.
So that means they're clearly not.
What's worrying? How are you doing a ship? And that's probably why it's delayed. It's like, hang on, this has got to tie into the race, and we don't actually know anything about the fucking race. We don't know whether
it'll be Dave Haddock,
bigger, whether it's got bigger vision. And then they said, oh, it's got crap hearing. Oh, has it? Oh, right, okay. Like you can't build a ship without knowing that shit.
It'll be a case of Dave Haddock, Will Weisbaum, all the lore team sitting down with the character team and the ship team and saying, right, this is what we have for a Banu. This is what we need. But doing it now, this early on, you just kind of think, well, by the time they create the Banu, are they going to follow the ship and stick to that, or are they going to make something completely different?
I feel like this is something that they should have been doing already. It's like what did they come to releasing and also go, oh shit, hang on a minute, we need to make this tie in with the people.
The Banu was 60 feet tall. Oh, sorry, I didn't know that.
Happens in a lot of other companies as well, I can tell you.
No, I mean, I'm okay with it. Overall, I'm just kind of it's just a bit sad. I mean, it's interesting to see if the Banu, the tachyon cannon, will make it into the game.
Yeah, it's like, why would it now? It's because that's their main firepower, isn't it? Is the tachyon cannon. I mean, a lot of people have said that was the main thing they're looking forward to in 3.5 was the ship. For me, I'm not all that fussed. Yeah, I'm not all that fussed.
For me, it's just a ship. I've got loads of other ships.
I'm the same.
Oh, I liked it. It's the first alien race. It's the first one we've got. You know what I mean? That's the reason why.
It's an important ship, definitely.
It's the first one for the Banu, and for me, it's like
Banu.
It's like seeing the Banu. The Banu is the first one. You know. So for me, it was, and that's why it's important. That's why they need to get it right. So it's like, okay, cool. I'll wait a little bit longer. But then I feel like it's not going to get the star in the sky potentially, because obviously there's going to be another ship in 3.6, which is potentially going to be even bigger and more interesting for most people, just to take away a bit of its thunder, which is the 890 jump. You know?
Nah, you think that's going to be in? Do you think that's not going to get pushed back?
No, I don't think so, because the styling guide's already done.
Good luck with that one.
Oh, no, honestly, I think the 890 will make it because the styling guide's
it
done.
probably will. It's got a much better chance. Yeah. But I got no interest in the 890 jump though. It's so big a ship that I got no interest in it at all. So
no,
I'm not interested in it. But you're not going to see lots of people flying it, are you? There's not going to be lots of people with that compared to a Banu.
No. But then you know what I mean though? Like, just I think it's like its moment in 3.5. There was no other ship there really. The Reliant. Don't get this seriously. The Reliant is the Reliant. There's nothing. The 300. I suppose the 300. I suppose you could argue the 300 maybe would steal a little bit with your, the rework, but we'll see. Well, actually, to be fair, the 300 is still looking. They've got quite a lot to do yet on that still. It seems. But,
all I care about with these ships now is just seeing how they fly in atmosphere. I just want to see how well they fly, how cool they fly, how they don't fly, how they just fall, how Miz flies, that sort of stuff. That's what I'm interested in.
We know that one already.
I'm just looking at this year, and I'm just going like gameplay wise.
Yeah, it's lame for gameplay.
We're-
It really is, and a lot of people
we're in
obviously
serious
got a bit
trouble.
deflated
They're in
this
trouble.
year. But I'm still excited for it. I still feel like it's a lot of more robustness coming to the game, and just fine tuning things. And I'm very excited for it.
I'm going to say, CRG, you could save this year from being a complete black hole in terms of actual fun game mechanics by just doing a little bit of magic. Seriously.
A little bit of magic. That's what you can take away from this podcast. A little bit of magic.
I think
basically
put a little bit of magic in, and I think this year will be a good year. I think if they don't put this bit of magic in, I think we will be seriously bitching and moaning by the end of this year about game mechanics. Seriously, it will be a drum that will just get louder.
Gotta be
and
end
louder
perfectly, beautifully by the end of the year. There will be no complaining, just like last year.
Yeah.
Saying next year is going to be the one.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I mean,
I think
what happens
we've
if
now.
if the flight model's crap?
I'm genuinely confident about the flight model. Seriously, I don't think you have anything to worry about the flight model. I think it's going to be good. I think that is going to be. I've got great confidence. I'm not going to have to choke out David Coulson at British.
Okay, so we got one question. We'll do that, and then we'll find somebody to host.
Ooh, you guys have been busy in chat.
Chat has been overwhelmingly
To be
busy.
fair, chat is
today.
always lit. I love you guys. You guys are awesome.
Progress.
I always see chat lighting up. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. That's here, and not watching those other streamers who just play the game. Because why would you do?
I don't even play the game anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, on that awkward moment, the question is from MK19, and he says, "I'm not quite sure on this one what he's asking, but how should CIG address backers who are going to be angry? Who's going to be angry about how their ship has changed in the new flight model? Just give them the bird or address it ahead of time." I presume you mean how the ship handles with the new flight model rather than the change of the ship. Because ships
hopefully it all
changed
handles as it's supposed to from what they kind of originally thought. Because that's what happened is most of the ships came out and they're not supposed to, don't seem to handle like they're supposed to. They should more match what the original idea is. Not the original idea. I mean, everything's changed since then, hasn't it?
Well, it's hard to say what the original idea is because there's Chris's idea, and then there's the guy who built the flight model, and it's his idea. You know what I mean? There's, and then he's no longer there anymore.
And then there's Dave
Coulson's idea. So you've
got
got
Dave.
you got 3 or 4 people's kind of, and then then also what Dave explained to me, which was really interesting. Then you have the ship team's idea of what the coding and how they want the ships to fly as well. On top of that, and they work together with Dave because Dave just does the basic coding, and then they work together. So there's this whole multitude of levels of people's opinions and views and shit that they obviously have to wade through. Probably slows everything down a little bit. And then Chris comes in and says, no, it has to be World War II flight. So it's I think personally, to answer the question, I honestly think that most people will be satisfied with the new flight model. I honestly think most people will not be. I don't think it's a super detached from what we're used to. They've slowed it down a little bit. We have decoupled now. In theory, will be working, which I think will save a lot of people and will help people who are used to their gliding, their comm stamps and stuff. I think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to be too far away from what we already have.
Yeah.
But
I agree with that.
The question was if they should
flip them off, or what was the?
If they should
flip them off, or
I don't
address
think
it
they'll
ahead
flip
of
them
time.
off.
It's not a good idea.
I'm gonna be shot for what I'm gonna say, but we're all about we're buying ships, but don't forget the ship is a reward. You're actually just paying, the development. You're paying the income of the devs.
In his channel.
So you're not entitled to anything. It's just here's your ship, and however it reacts and responds, it's not flipping you off. It's not.
No.
You're paying because you're having trust in the project, and you're funding the project. That you get a ship as a reward. That's nice. That's a nice to have. But
Yeah. I think,
Kind
in my
of.
opinion, along the
Yes.
same lines as Bok almost, is that it's as long as the ship functions as it's supposed to. So if it's a fighter, it's still a fighter. If it's a repair, it's still a fighter. Just because it flies differently. This is, like, we've said it all along in the podcast about the caves not being developed. This is alpha. This is development. They've said all along your ships will change. The things may change. They've changed layouts in them. What you're buying is the concept of that ship, so what it's supposed to do. So you're getting a bounty hunter, you expect it to be a bounty hunter. It's supposed to have some form of mechanic that will allow you to bounty hunt. If you have a news van, you expect it to eventually have a mechanic that you're not paying for how it flies, or saying, "Oh, okay, I know that I suppose there's an element that some handle differently, but you've got to understand that it is development, and that's why you can melt your ships and buy a new one." So if you don't like how your one handles, and all of a sudden the Saber handles better than the Hornet, then you melt your Saber and melt the Hornet and get the Saber. It's.
I think what Madness said is true. I think people won't be disappointed with it. I think it will be at least in the right direction. But it's more a case of either practice and get good with it, or find a ship that you do prefer, because the ships are supposed to handle differently. And I think that is one of the biggest things about this game that I like the most, is the fact that there is so much variation between everything, and everything feels like it belongs to you. So if you have a particular ship that you're good at, that will be your ship, and it'll have your loadout and all your things. But then you might switch, let's say you're really good in the Gladius, and then you think, I'm going to try the Hornet or the Saber, and it feels completely different, but it doesn't suit your style. That's not something you should be like, well, I bought it, so why won't it fly the way I want it to fly? They will fly differently, and it's up to you to decide which ones you like and which ones you don't like. That's the point of having the variation.
Yeah, you summed up exactly kind of like what's happened for me, exactly in that sense. It's like in 2.6.3, I flew the Gladius all the time. That was my go-to ship. That was my baby. I have to say, because that's the time.
Commercial!
But that was the ship. That was the go-to ship for me, was my Gladius for ages. That was the one combat ship I had. I flew that for ages, and then I got the Saber, and then I flew the Saber, and I enjoyed it. But those were my two main ships. I was very, very good with it. And then I got into the new 3.4 flight models and all the rest of it, the 3 area, and I didn't really like it. And then the Arrow came, and I kind of figured out, and then some people gave me a few tips and a few things I needed to do to change up my kind of flying style. And so I did those things, and then all of a sudden the Arrow flew just like the way I used to fly in my Gladius. And so it was like, I have a way of obviously flying, and this ship flies the way I want to fly and the way that I get joy out of. Now in the new flight model, the Arrow might not do that. The Gladius might not do that. The Santa Coy in a year's time could be that ship that gives me that. I don't know. But, or the Saber could do it, or the Arrow, or whatever, So that's why I have a breadth of ships in my arsenal. That's why I kind of will eventually have the same thing. I have a fighter for everything. And then eventually I'll probably get to a situation where I go, do you know what? This is the fighter for me. This is the group of fighters that I want. And then maybe something else that's similar, and a light fighter, I'll just get rid of it or sell it or upgrade it to something else, a heavy fighter or more variety. But for now, I have a bit of a breadth so that I can I've got the Heartseeker for the very reason that I don't know what armor is going to do. So I've got, I don't have a Super Hornet. I've got a Super Hornet. I mean, obviously we're talking this and as a box.
But basically, that's
what we shouldn't be. That's the thing. We shouldn't be talking that.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale that you shouldn't just keep buying ships because you think it's going to fly the way you want it.
Is actually true. You're buying the game. Eventually, we shouldn't be talking about the price of ships, because if it's too expensive for you, don't buy it. Wait until it's in game. Yeah. Buy it in game, rent it in game. That's what it's there for. If you've bought it and you don't like it, you shouldn't have bought it, or you should swap it or melt it or whatever.
But I agree with Engelschatten too, that he says, after a while, you just get hooked with the game and you pay for the ships and not out of charity. Now that is true, but it still doesn't entitle you to.
That's your prerogative, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's your choice. That's not what you've been told to do, and that doesn't give you a heads up, like a leg up.
And by that time you're well aware of what you're doing. It's
sure.
Like I know what I'm doing, and at the end of the day, like I said, I've said to many people before, is there are other ways to generally fund the ships if you want to. Like there's plenty of Twitch streamers doing giveaways all the time. I'm sure if we were to go on to the Twitch channel now, you tell me how many people in that Twitch channel on StarCitizen at the top are doing a giveaway. I guarantee it, there'll be at least one of those people will be doing a giveaway for something. That's pretty much a standard, So there are ways potentially, if you're active enough, to generate funds to be able to fund.
What you mean, like the top 2 people streaming it right now? Bye, everybody.
Yeah, probably. Oh, that's not. But that's normal. That's the normal. That's normally what I've made money off of giveaways, and I'm not. That's
If I could run giveaways every
because I didn't
second of
know.
the day, that'll help me grow as a channel. I'll do it.
Oh yeah.
There's no two ways about it. I'll do it.
Yeah, well, I won't do it necessarily because I do it because I want. We grow this channel at the Asylum with people that want to come and enjoy our content, not coming for free shit. That's
But
the way we do it.
in a way, it's a win-win. Don't get me wrong. People do come and only come for the free shit. But out of 10 people that come, at least 3, 4, depending on how they like you, will stay. And it's giving back to the community. It's helping you grow. It's getting you the numbers. It's getting you more followers that you wouldn't have had if you didn't have that giveaway in your title. So in my eyes, it's a win-win, and I would keep doing it if I had the option to. But
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, we've done giveaways here on the show. I don't do Gleam. We don't do Gleam here anymore because it's just I don't believe in that. But
it exists.
live
It's real.
giveaways. Doing live giveaways here. Like I prefer to do that than doing Gleam stuff. But yeah, for sure. But I mean, there are ways to fund if you don't have the money. There are ways to kind of like do that without having to do your own money when you I was out of work.
Just wait until in the game you can earn it, which is what will come eventually.
You can, but people. But that's easy to say. But if you've got that for the game and you want to get in, you want to play, and I know what it's like. Like there are so many games that I don't play because I just want to play StarCitizen. Do you know what I mean?
Same. True, but that's on your own head. That's the thing. That's what they're saying is that it's
not
like they're developing a game. It's not up to them to control your own.
I never. And I think when renting, well, we got ships in game. I think the fact is we need more of the ships to be able to buy in game. I think we've all said this and agreed that the gap ships are not there. They need to have
Close
I
to
think
that.
renting is going to be an important one because at the moment they're a bit too far apart, a bit too high priced to earn with the current build. Not that that's the wrong price. It's just the current build. It's difficult to earn cash.
Goes back to them trying to show us the costs of things without warning us, but just let us have things, let us earn it now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's like that's kind of what I was
earlier. But yeah,
when I was trying to say something, and I couldn't quite think of it. It's like they put in some end game stuff, like this is the price of ships, but they don't give you the stuff to do that to get to it, and it's kind of like the sort of the burning the candle at both ends in a different way. Like you'll never get this kind of thing. But renting ships, I think, will change that, and that should open up a lot more of the options of the gameplay that we currently have to the people with just one ship.
As long as they don't fall on that, rather than giving ships to buy in game, that's my biggest fear with it. Is they give people just they fill the gaps with rented ships, and I'm like, no, that's not good enough. You need to fill them with all the ships and the rented ship. Can't just do the rented ships only. You must do the ships to buy as well. I would be very disappointed if they just give you an Avenger to rent rather than to buy.
It needs to be both.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
Both. Not happy if they do just renting.
We all still feel. I personally feel I don't see why it can't still be there to do it now. But
again, it's like that faking it. Just put it in a list of available ships to buy. You don't have to have it on display.
It's so ridiculous.
That's the thing. It's one of these things. Why not just put it in for the sake of it? Because then people get to play it, and you'll actually make more money because people will play with it, try it, and think, "I'm buying that fucking ship."
But I think they're doing it because it's cheap. They know that people are more likely to buy the cheap ships than the more expensive ships. So, anyway, I think
that's a
it could be on all night long on them sort of things. So
I think we're all go around and around.
Yeah, which is we've extended this podcast longer than I thought. That's good.
We've done well.
Well, no, with the lack of content, I didn't think it was going to have much to talk about, but we still managed to have stuff to talk about, which is always good. As long as it's engaging and people are interested in listening and joining in chat, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now's a good time to wrap it up, unless anyone else has got anything to add.
If you haven't voted for my sneaker, please vote it on.
Yes. Let me show off that one that you said.
Thing.
Media to go live.
So I've done just a little shout out for the org. So basically, if anyone didn't see it, I did last week. I had a bit of time, and I thought,
can I have your font?
Daymar Rally. I was asked by Daymar. Yeah, I was asked by Daymar Rally if I would do a sneaker for the running, because originally what happened was there was an org. I think it was called SCIRE. I kind of scree Imperium, and they ended up their ships. I think, their vehicles. Sorry, their vehicles broke, and they had to run the Daymar Rally. And if anyone knows how far that is, that's a freaking long way. So they ran it, and then somebody mentioned about sneakers and stuff. Now this isn't actually the one that was in the time lapse video. Time-lapse
Where is
video
the
one.
link to that? It's on the Asylum channel, but we want to give the one to people to go and vote it, really. So
Yeah,
you can go and watch the time. I got it here, I think. I got it.
You got it. You got it?
Yeah. There you go.
So, yeah, if
So
you wouldn't
go
mind, if
there,
you haven't voted, I would
upvote
appreciate
it. Tell everybody
little
how
upvote.
awesome it is.
And if you have never seen the video, if you haven't seen the video, go check out the video. It's on, obviously, if you're on YouTube, you'll see it because it's the video before this video that's going up live on our channel. But it was, yeah. So this is the exclusive variant that I've done for them. So we've made the midsole black and we've changed the colors to blue and to hook up with their logo and stuff. So, but this was the Go Raider project, and yeah, it was a fun project. I did it. I really enjoyed doing it. It took me, I think it was like 20 odd hours, I think, in total, plus a bit of time off stream, just to kind of tweak a few things I wasn't happy with. But it was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, go check out the time-lapse video on YouTube. And this is that's what I do for a living. Sneakers, that's what I do. So it's a lot of fun to
Crocs next. Crocs should have been first, let alone next.
Crocs, yeah. But it's I mean, the way it kind of works is you do initial kind of sketching and concept. And then as you go through the process, things change and evolve and designs. And I think I had by the end of it, I probably had about 12 or 13 ideas that probably didn't even make it onto the shoe that I could have probably done another shoe out of. And I could easily probably design other sneakers for other companies. We could do, if we were to do it, I've done an RSI exploration boot. I've now done a Tumbrel kind of Daymar Rally running boot shoe. Even I could do a Drake
mods.
We could do I could do probably what would be an Origin shoe look like? What would a
Converse
or an Origin sneaker look like? What would a Drake one look like? Probably it would be in the recycle bin or in the sell bin. What would I could probably do all of the brands and stuff. So
when they get mods in game, it would be amazing if you could do clothing designs or sneaker designs and get them boots and modded into the game. Of different different orgs could have their own logo on a multitude of shoes, their own uniform shoes. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and everyone everyone's been really positive and stuff. So thank you for all the positive responses on there and the upvotes and stuff. So yeah, it was really, really cool. I don't expect to win the usual was it the Citizen of the Month or whatever it is, whatever they do, because I think you have to do proper videos and advertise StarCitizen with their video content rather than create your own stuff. So I don't expect to win, but thank you for everyone that has voted and upvoted. I really appreciate it. And we will get around to doing one again, but it won't be for a while. So please don't inundate me with requests, because this is I do this every now and again when I need a couple of days downtime, literal downtime, and then I bash it out and I have to be in the mood for it. But there are plenty of ideas in my head for others. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was great fun. I can't wait to do this for Miz, because Miz will probably be doing some cool shit that you'll get to see soon as well.
I am working on the time-lapse video. If it works, yes, hopefully. I've got 2 actually. I've got a few to do, so yeah. Hopefully.
Get it? It's very exciting.
Freaking NDAs all the time. I can't tell shit. I'll show shit. But soon it will be lifted, I hope.
So yeah, check out the links. I appreciate it, and yeah, hit the like buttons and all the rest of it, all that usual stuff. For all of the stuff, and I think we're going to do more. Like we said, we're going to try and this year and try and do more content and interesting things, creative and stuff for these.
Yeah, I mean, the Asylum channel is full, obviously, at the moment of podcasts and some D&D stuff. But we do hope for this year. Our goal is to put more content on there, like this, like my painting, which will of the StarCitizen models. So they'll be up there. Hopefully, we'll get a website up so you can see some of the pictures of progress and work in progress as well. These are all future plans. It's time and everything else to get it done. So yeah, we'll get there.
You sound like CIG.
No. But I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying we've got time to do it. So we're telling you.
Communicating the truth.
Key.
We are communicating the truth to people.
I'm gonna join you soon, miserable, with the art stuff.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Well,
yeah, I can't wait, 'cause 3D.
No, well, the 3D prints that I've got, they need to be painted. I got my super duper airbrush received last week, and tomorrow more pencils and more paint. We'll get in more brushes. So yeah, I've got my webcam set up. I think I will manage here in this tiny little space. Now I only need to learn to paint.
That's the easy part.
Yeah,
Getting the airbrush to work's the hard part.
exactly.
Just before we go, because Angel just asked, he said, "Do you agree with my chat comment above?" And Angel's a good support. I bought ships because I loved how they handled, but if the flight model changes and the ships is unflyable for me, that is going to suck. And that's why I want all the ships should be available after the new flight to melt and change to what you want.
I mean, you can melt them anyway, can't you?
No,
can
but
melt them whenever
limited
you want.
ones aren't like. So there's like
can't
limited.
switch.
I suppose he means like the limited ships that are only on sale at a certain point. It's like, well, now I bought this. Maybe if you bought a limited ship because it's on limited sale, and then like, oh shit, I kind of melt it. And
I'm torn on this one because, like, I would say it's hard. I love you, Angel. You're amazing, but I would say it's kind of hard shit because they do have a mechanic that will enable you to do it over a longer period of time, obviously. And we've already have that in previous flight models where people were flying the Hornet, for example, and then the Saber was dominant. Then the Hornet became dominant. Then and then people were, switching and chopping and changing. And I feel your pain. I do feel your pain, but they do actually have a mechanic there to do that. So it's just painful, annoying. I would agree.
We do tend to get a lot of the ships being back on sale. There's not very many that are no longer, like when the sale comes up or the end of the year sale and things like that, they do tend to come back. There's not many that have never been on sale again.
Yeah.
I'd say wait though. I wouldn't. If as soon as you jump into 3.5, don't just sort of think, right, I'm gonna melt. It's what happened with the Karak, isn't it? Like everyone, as soon as they saw the Karak with its little stumpy feet, they sold it, they melted it, they were pissed off, and then they put it back to a decent way again. They eventually wait. I would just say wait until they say ship handling is final, and then decide whether you like the ship. If you start buying stuff and swapping it out, and then suddenly it goes back, it goes bad, then it goes back again to being good, which has happened a lot. You're going to think, shit, I shouldn't have sold that.
I think Engel means the final version of things.
I hope, this is what my biggest hope is, that when we get to the point where we get into beta and towards the end of the game, is that CIG, this is the biggest failure of them is communication, but I hope that they come out and really communicate strongly, very clearly to the community and say, okay, in this year, you have 1 year. We were going to open up multiple buybacks and changes and all the rest of it, but you have 1 year, figure out all of your ships, and then we're going to lock it all down, and then it's done. And there'll be no more complaining, no more this, no more that. That is it. This is the start date, and this is the finish date. We're going to make it so it's easy for you to switch and change as much as you want through that year. But once that deadline hits, if you haven't figured out your ships and your shit, that's tough, and that's on you. We've given you more than enough time and more than enough tools to be able to do it. Now, CIG really needs to make sure that they have that as a plan and make it very, very clear and very easy for everyone to change as much as they want through the year, because it's so important, because they've invested so much money. So to answer your question, Angels, yes,
would be fair.
But I hope that's towards the end of the game, when we're getting right to beta and they say, yeah, here you go crazy. If that's what you were meaning, Box, thank you for the clarity. That's what Angel was saying at the end of the game. Yeah, for 100%. We should have that as for a year or 6 months or whatever they feels comfortable, but it needs to be a good chunk of time. Better, because some people travel, like I travel, and so if they gave me like 2 weeks and I traveled off to Asia, I'd be fucked. I can't go on my computer and change my ships. That's harsh. I can't fly, so it needs to be a good chunk of people.
Okay,
great question.
Yeah,
cool. And then so that's it. Then round it up. Then so the end of the. So what's everyone up to then the rest of the week? I'm playing
first.
That's for sure.
You're playing what? Path of Exile.
I'm enjoying it. It's a mind-numbingly just bash click game. It's actually quite addictive. It's fun. It's I'm quite impressed with it. I thought it would be garbage, but actually, for a free-to-play game, really quite good.
Are you streaming it?
No, I'm not streaming it because I don't want to. I just want to enjoy it myself. I don't want to stream it. So if I'm streaming, I'm going to play StarCitizen. I love streams. So, but if I'm playing Path of Exile, I'll just play them myself with some friends. And if they stream it, that's fine. I'll play with them. But I'm not going to stream it. I don't want to. I want to keep it to myself.
All to myself.
Roll to myself. I want to enjoy it myself. I don't want
Like
to.
that guy from Split.
That's all fun, mate.
All for me. I haven't seen that film. I need to watch it.
It's good.
Yeah.
So, Buck, what are you going to be up to?
My mate's his friend.
Well, like I said,
find me someone to raid.
I want to fit in some art streams until 3.5 arrives finally for me. But I also need to finish my paint booth, and yesterday I electrocuted myself. Yep, don't laugh.
I electrocuted my son, my 8-month-old baby. He accidentally got hold of an electrical wire.
Oh right.
I don't know what happened, but he started crying, and so he had a little bit of a moment.
Really?
I don't know if anything. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he edit or whatever.
He started off that side of the room, and then he ended that side of the room.
But he had a little. He obviously something happened, and he was holding on to it. So we're just going to assume. We're making an assumption. It's not a guarantee. It's not confirmed.
Right.
For anyone so far says you terrible parent. I don't know.
Those
Nothing
teeth are temporary.
His brother could have farted on his head, and that's why he could have been crying. For all I know, it was one of the. But we're just putting two in. We're kind of making a guess here, but because it's a funny story. Because
I will, monkey. I will.
So you basically are like my 8-month-old.
Yeah. It happened early in the morning. I was just awake, and I left the plug into the wall socket, and I was fiddling around with the ventilator for toilets. You know which you place in the toilet ceiling.
Ventilator in your toilet.
Yeah.
Extractor fan.
Yeah. So that still was.
So what
still
ship are you
electricity.
planning on spray painting after you finish electrocuting yourself?
It'd be like that.
Well, basically, I'm not gonna spray paint the hammerhead that I'm working on right now because that already has been done. The next ship I will paint is the the Prospector that I've got here, and that needs to be.
You got a picture? You got a model? You got a model?
NDA, his own NDA.
No, I've got the hammerhead laying here, and I've got the Prospector down in pieces, which need to be glued together.
You have them in bed with you, don't you?
Oh yes.
Just cuddle up next to the hammerhead.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm thinking about playing around with the airbrush to learn it because it's a whole different story than with a regular brush. But it's fun, really fun.
Make sure you laminate models so they're easy white.
Oh yeah,
finish.
I will.
Don't even know what that means.
If he's taking them down to bed with him, you want to make sure that they're laminated.
Oh, that's what, I thought it was some technical model making terminology. I thought, why would you laminate? Maybe it makes it easier to paint.
I'm gonna grease it up a little, you know. Huh? Loop it up.
Missiles.
That's what the holes. It's not for the stand. That's what the holes in the hammerhead for. It's not actually for the stand.
Exactly.
That's not the airlock.
No, but that's hopefully gonna happen this week on twitch.tv Bokbiertje, and I will announce.
Give him
it
a
on
follow.
Twitter.
Give him a follow.
Yay.
I think it's. I can't remember what the card is.
Thank you, Engel.
We can't stop. Have you noticed? Anyone noticed in chat? We just can't stop. Like literally, this.
He gives hammerhead.
We just.
Okay, now I'm gonna fetch my hammer.
Oh, nice.
Where is he? I'm trying to find.
We can't stop.
Sure
We just cannot stop. I've noticed we're terrible. Hey, dude, the hammerhead, your model looks great, Bok. You can't hear me. But
It's where he drops it live on stream.
Oh, but he don't.
Maybe this one does it.
It looks great. Oh shit, he's here. His headphones.
Oh wow.
Looks
It's like an Asian weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Follow one of us.
But you need to age that sucker though, dude. You got to get some dry brushing.
Yeah. This is just all the base coating that's going on. But orange,
Let's try this one.
although it's my favorite color, just like Miserables, it's a bitch to paint because this is actually
Let's have a look.
5 or
Should we do
6,
orange?
7 layers, and it's still not coating.
Let's have a look.
Wow.
We'll have to have a word. Let's have a
What
word.
happens when you buy cheap paint, isn't it?
And it's a bit too bright.
It looks like
it's
one of those
really hard to
airsoft
tell.
guns.
I couldn't
Do a
find
wash
good
over it,
pictures
that'll
on the
darken it
internet.
down. No, there
But
isn't.
I went to Lorville where it's being displayed outside.
Good idea.
And I took screenshots, and there are details in here which are actually not really in game as far as I could see. So it's a bit of freehand painting. It's not there's too much orange on this.
It's your hammerhead, dude. Like you could put
make it mine.
Bock on it, make
Put
it yours.
Bock written
That's
on
what
it.
it is. Your interpretation of what
My logo.
the colorway should look like. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't. Like everyone gets so wrapped up sometimes. Like art. Like I have the same argument with my missus. She's like, "Oh, I can't draw." I'm like, "Why can't you draw?" "Oh, because I can't make it look like it's meant like real." I'm like, "You don't have to make it look like the real.
That
The whole
is
point
true,
of art is
yeah.
to be
Well,
your interpretation.
unless
of
you're
what
getting
you want
paid
to
to
have
make it look
some
like
kind
the
of
real
get
thing.
into
reference.
your mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't need to be freaking. Look at Picasso. Jesus Christ! Like
Yeah,
that was his
yeah.
interpretation of what, or Jackson Pollock, or all these other amazing artists. They were good artists. Trust me, they could paint beautiful, beautiful pieces. But they wanted to take you on a voyage of their exploration of creativity and their mind and the way they were thinking, and that's what you get. And that's what art is about. It really is. So, like, dude, if you want to paint it fluorescent fucking orange, you go and paint that sucker fluorescent.
It's not fluorescent orange, but
I've
it's close.
painted
You
the
paint
way
it
they
It's called
want it.
ambient moon orange.
Whatever you want. I'm just saying. It
But
doesn't
that's a
have to
bit
be-
what's holding me back from streaming this, because I'm holding off the stream for a long time now for the art part. It's really this one is even brighter. This is the
Speaking as somebody that's like literally just done the same thing, like you just go in, just have a rough idea of where you want to go with it.
yeah.
Do it beforehand, and then just go at it, and just go, and who knows where it's going to go. It's
Take
cool.
viewers' opinions and advice and build it that
Mhm.
way in.
Yeah.
With their ideas.
Only if it's a good idea, though, Max.
Don't do that, you end up with crocs.
Well, yeah. That whole customer's always right. Comments are not always right.
No, just just take Chris Roberts' advice. He's building the game
Chaps
for you.
like to troll.
Now, that's his
fun.
thing. It's yours, okay? Ignore the rest. Chat are a bunch of trolls. They lie. This is constantly throwing crocs when I was doing my sneaker, okay? It's just like, if I did that, we would be in terrible.
See nothing wrong with the crocs. So,
Absolutely not.
Mac,
the longest
what are
exit.
you up to? Yeah, and so guys, those of you who are watching, please make sure you go and give Bock a follow if you haven't already on Twitch.
Yeah.
Go over to his Twitch channel, give him a follow, and you'll get to see him painting that lovely hammerhead soon. We'll convince him, don't worry.
Actually, because you've got your hair, Mac, and you probably can't answer this too much, I guess, on stream and stuff. But I'm just curious, like, because obviously, are you Redacted? It's moved to Sunday, and you're part of Redacted. Like, what's
Sunday?
the deal? Are you now?
Sunday? He didn't know.
Yeah.
Well,
on
the
Sunday.
podcast is.
The podcast is on Sunday. Yeah.
Well, I'm still redacted, and I've actually not spoken, but
I'm just
messaged
curious about it.
Saurus. We are having a meeting soon.
Okay, cool.
just
I was just
setting
curious
it up.
because, like, I know they've been doing a lot of changes and stuff at that end and stuff. So I was just curious, like, where.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on, to be honest, but I haven't really been active in their Discord for a while, so I'll find out soon.
No, NDA. I don't need. It's fine. I was just curious, like, kind of like.
No, I don't know, to be honest. I don't know
What
what's
are you
going
up to, Mac?
on. Just the usual stuff. Streaming, videos. I've got 3 or 4 video ideas coming out this week, hopefully. I need to get one out before. It's kind of like the same CIG stuff. I've got one about making money in 3.4, and I think, fuck, it's been sat on my hard drive for so long, and I thought, why did I not put that out there? So I'm going to try and get that out quick, because it'll still apply. It's not like we're getting many new ways of making money in 3.5. But it needs to come out before that, because I've referenced the flight model. Other than that, I will be it's just the usual. Nothing new. Just same old, waiting for 3.5, talking StarCitizen, maybe playing Thanks Madness.
I see 2 face palms now.
Wow. Thanks, mate.
Face
Thanks for that.
face
Thanks for
palming hard now.
Yeah.
You had one job.
One job. Thanks for that. This is what we do at the Asylum. We support each other, even if it is when we're going offline.
Yep.
Fucking bastard. Okay, so yeah, look forward to that. So if you're not following Mac, which I'm sure all of you already are, go over to his Twitch channel. Twitch channel? Follow there. And his
my Twitch
YouTube
channel
as well. Because his YouTube channel is awesome.
Thanks.
He does StarCitizen Sunday, which is every Sunday.
Apart from last week.
And I can't wait to get Mac on and joining us when we do our chit chat, as we do all the time, but do a chat about other things because I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun.
Are we doing that? Are you doing the?
We are
legit. Yeah, we're going
to do it offline. So we're going to do the
podcast. The Silent Podcast.
Yeah, if people give us anything they want to talk about or anything they want us to discuss, we'll probably do it as an offline recording and then put it on YouTube. And maybe we'll try and keep it short for like an hour or something, so it's not too long and like
well,
not like
edit
this
it
that keeps going on and
going
on.
off on a stupid tangent.
Yeah, we either do it offline or we might. I mean, it depends on how long this drought lasts. I'm not going to lie to you guys in chat. Seriously, if this drought continues, I may just have to take this off StarCitizen just for a couple of weeks and to start talking about some other things because like it's getting hard to talk about.
We're gonna manage. Come on.
We ain't got long to go. I would say another week or two, and we'll be seeing more about a potential PTU release. I reckon. Not a week. 2 weeks. I would say is probably the next.
Yeah,
I may hope that we have
when I leave.
First wave in about a week. Hopefully. Hopefully.
I would expect maybe 2, but at least when it gets to like the first wave release, it doesn't last long before it's wave 2, 3 done.
That is true.
Wide PT. It like literally within a week, it can go from wave 1 to wider, or even live.
I can't tell. It's going to be a weird release, that's for sure.
The never-ending story got its idea as concept from our never-ending outro. That's where they kind of got the story from there.
What you mean, like us rolling this up half an hour ago? Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks very much for watching us. As always, thanks for the support. Thanks for everybody that's subbed and donated. Honestly, we really appreciate it. We're glad that you come by every week and support us. And if you're not following us on the YouTube channel, please go and do so. Give us. We'll get up to about 450 odd now, so we're getting there, slowly climbing, very very slowly, but we're climbing. So that's always a good thing. So yeah, we appreciate it. We're gonna go and raid somebody, but otherwise, have a good night. See you next week on Monday. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Who shall we raid?